firearms and accessories with a huge selection available for your hunting needs and personal defense. Turn to Bay Guns and Gear. They have the weapon for you. Discount pricing. And if you can't find what you're looking for, they'll special order it for you. Bay Guns and Gear, across from Grease Pro at 3115 Highway 77. Visit their website, baygunsandgear.com.
When your mind creates an image, it's vivid. When your mind imagines a smell,
the bread, she's already.
It's as enticing as being in the kitchen. And when your mind interprets a sound, you're standing there watching the action. Radio, the medium that works with your mind. Radio paints the picture. Radio touches the senses. Radio constructs the vision you never see. When radio is used creatively, effectively, it brings sight, sound, and feelings to everyone.
Hi, this is Miles Lashley, media consultant for ESPN Northwest Florida, and I would love to help you put together a marketing campaign designed specifically for your business. Call me 850-215-4468.
Do you have a food allergy or a food intolerance? And would you know the difference? For instance, if you have an upset tummy after drinking a glass of milk, it's likely you have an intolerance to dairy, not an allergy. Now, there's more than 100 foods known to cause allergies like eggs, peanuts, milk, shellfish, soy, and wheat. So what's the difference? Well, a food intolerance is a digestive issue, and a food allergy is an immune system response to a food your body sees as harmful. Even a small amount of food can trigger an allergic reaction like itchy skin or eyes, swelling of the face, or difficulty swallowing. So you can help avoid foods and additives that may cause a reaction by reading food labels and, when you eat out, asking the server how the meal is prepared. I hope that helps. From Samaritan Ministries, a health-sharing ministry, I'm Doug Chamberlain with a Family Health Checkup. For more, visit us at Family Health Checkup.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WTOT, W271DM Mariana, WVLQ Port St. John, powered by Pepsi, ESPN Northwest Florida. Get ready.
Miami is going to the Final Four.
Sports Talk Radio will never be the same.
It is over.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
The San Diego State Aztecs for the first time.
On ESPN.
Onion pickles, onions, pickles.
Northwest Florida.
Welcome in. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida on a beautiful Friday afternoon. We're out here at PCB Hobby for the grand opening, the 1-year anniversary. We've got Todd Mueller in the house with us. Well, we're in his house today. What's going on, Todd?
What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing?
Hey, we're doing fantastic. If you have not been out to PCB Hobby, this is my second time out here. My first time since it's been redone, and it just... You guys outdo yourself every single time, man. It's amazing out here.
It is amazing. I'll tell you what, we've worked very hard over the last year. If you guys don't know it, today is our 1-year brick and mortar anniversary. So you're probably saying, brick and mortar anniversary, why did you say that? Well, because we have some online platforms we sell on Whatnot, and it has not been 1 year quite yet on Whatnot, but in store it has been 1 year. 1 year ago today, we opened our doors, and the people just started coming in. The visitors started coming in, and it has been great ever since. We have a ton of local customers now, and we have a ton of people coming back, visiting the area. You'll be shocked at how many people actually come to PCB and return every year. So it's been really great. We've worked very hard on the shop. We have it set up very nicely. We have kind of our 4 staples that we do, and that's comic books, sports cards, coins, and TCGs. TCGs are trading card games like Pokemon and Magic.
Right.
So ultimately, we've worked very hard over the last year. We've added a lot of team members. Everybody who actually works for us full time and part time. There's 17 of us we counted today.
17
of us. Yeah, it's amazing. So. We've definitely built up the amount of people who can help you when you come, and the amount of people who are doing back-end processing so we can get stuff out front for you guys to purchase and look at and collect. So it's been really great. It's been really great.
Yeah, it's been awesome, no doubt about it. We're going to be out here from 4 to 6 p.m. today. What are some things? We've got 50-cent trading cards.
Yeah, so what we have is we have some 2-for-1 specials right now on our dollar cards. If you buy $2 cards, you get them for $1. So they're basically 50 cents a piece. In our dollar box, we have tons of dollar boxes here. And there's good names in those. I mean, a lot of the cards are $2, $3, and $4 a piece. This is not, just junk stuff that we've put out there. So if you're looking to collect something specific or need something specific, let us know. I also wanted to bring up about our earlier adventures before you guys got here today at 10 o'clock. We did a ribbon cutting. We had all the staff here. We got a staff photo, so that was really cool. And then we also had both chambers, the Bay County Chamber and the Panama City Beach Chamber, come together and do a ribbon cutting for us. And we did pictures and a little speech and all that type of stuff. And so it was a really good time. We actually had champagne for everybody. We had cake. And
that's my kind of grand opening right there.
Yeah. We had sandwiches and all kinds of different things. So it was really fun. We had a good time with everybody who was here. And again, getting out in the community. We've already done some things in the community. We were a part of, I think it's called Project 26, I want to say. Project 25 for the sheriff's Bay County Sheriff's Office. We did that and donated a couple months ago to their Christmas toy drive that they do, and we're going to do some more of that this year as well. And we're always looking for opportunities to donate and to help the local community because we want to be a part of the local community. So it was neat to see the chambers come out. And it was a lot of fun. I got to meet everybody. And funny thing is, we used some of these businesses that we didn't even know the people behind them, and we got to meet them. So that was actually a lot of fun.
Yeah, come check us out here at PCB Hobby on Back Beach next to Florida Linen. The way that I found easy to come, like Brian was explaining the other day, is just hitting Middle Beach, getting down to Lindell Lane, and then turning into Centennial Bank, and it'll take you right here.
That's it.
To PCB Hobby. It's a beautiful establishment. We're having a great time out here. Very busy as well. 10% discount too for ESPN.
So ESPN listeners, guys, come in today and tomorrow. You have a couple hours to come in. We close at 6 today, and tomorrow we're open from 10 to 6. And if you mention that you heard us on ESPN, we will give you 10% discount on all sealed product on the shelf for, believe it or not, Bill even said we'll do some deals on Pokemon too. Pokemon and Magic and stuff. So
Bill said round them up. He said round them up. We're going to have Bill on later with us today at 5:20.
Absolutely. So we're pretty excited about that, and we're pretty excited that we're able to be here with you guys and promote not only ESPN, but promote PCB Hobby. So a lot of you might be confused, or if you're not, we were formerly PCB Coins and Cards. We are now PCB Hobby. We've kind of found our umbrella, so to speak, as to who we are and what we are. So you guys need to come down, come join us. This is live right now at the shop, and you can talk with us, and we'll help you out. I mean, it's going to be a great time and a fun time. And again, we're super excited that it's our 1-year anniversary.
And the excitement around baseball right now is paramount, as big as it's going to get until the September, October portion of the season. What are some things that maybe caught your eye yesterday during opening day?
Well, there was a lot of cool things. I think some of the things I'm going to hold off till Bill talks at 5:20. But the one thing I do want to talk about is I'm excited that it was opening day yesterday, and that excitement extends to sports cards. And so it's a really big thing to come collect your favorite players, see your favorite players out on the diamond, and get to watch their games, and then come get their cards and be involved in collecting their stuff. So we're super excited that, like I said, Bill is going to talk a lot about the different products, the different things that have come out, and even the stuff on the patch and some of the stuff.
So I'm not going to ruin that then.
Don't ruin any of that yet.
Bill, come on down. I'm ready to talk about it. No.
So we're gonna let Bill talk about a lot of the sports card side of things because he's our main retail front, and so anyways, and him and hopefully Brian will be on that segment too, because Brian knows a lot about the different sports card products that are out and coming out. My main thing that I wanted to talk about today is about being here 1 year, about the community, and again about helping and serving in the community, and you know, you business owners that are out there that need help, need to talk, need to whatever, come see me. We're here to help, and like I said, be in the community. So we're super excited about that.
Again, you're listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm David Hayes, along with Caveman Rick, Miles Lashley. We got Tom Mueller. We've got Bill. We've got Brian. Tried to get Val to come talk some comics.
Val
said not yet.
Val said not yet. I'm not doing the comic book stuff yet. I did also want to bring up, I wanted to push a little bit on our social media and our whatnot. So this segment right now, I want to talk a little bit about that. Hopefully everybody will listen up. Remember, we are on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on TikTok and all the other platforms. And remember, we're PCB Coins, we're PCB Hobby, we're PCB Sports Cards. Check us out. Check our IDs out. Go peruse our Instagrams and stuff like that. Check our whatnot streams out. Excuse me, we have a lot of whatnot going on, especially in the coin side of things right now and our sports card side of things. Again, we're at PCB Coins or at PCB Sports Cards on whatnot. We've been doing a lot of shows. We've been very busy. We've been going out and acquiring a lot of inventory. And we've been doing the same thing for the sports card side of things too. So we have a lot of new products in here and a lot of new stuff, a lot of new coins. If you're a coin collector and you want to finish your set or whatnot, come in. We have tons of stuff. Also, on top of that, we also have we want to buy your collections. So we're trying to make a very big push onto buying collections, buying your excess inventory that you may have. Come see us. It's super exciting and super fun. And we love to haggle. We love to deal. That's one of my favorite parts.
I've noticed that a lot today.
That's one of my favorite things to do is to actually wheel and deal. Love doing that. Love closing a deal and buying stuff, and just love new stuff. So we've got a lot of us here all the time to help out. As far as the retail side goes, a lot of times in the coin side of things, you'll see myself, you'll see Kate, and you'll also see Emma. All three of us are very skilled numismatists and can help you out with your coin needs. I can also help on the sports card side of things, along with several other people here, and Emma is one of those too. Emma is very versatile, and she does pretty much everything here. And so she's kind of like the go-to person, our head front retail person who pretty much knows everything about everything. So those are some of the people who are involved. We also have on our TCG side, we have Ethan, and Ethan knows everything there is to know about TCGs. And so he deals in a lot of that type of stuff, helps with Pokemon and Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh! And all the different trading card games that are out there. So come see him. He has a lot of knowledge. He can help buy your stuff, sell your stuff, whatever you want to do. So anyways, just want to kind of spotlight and highlight, and don't want to forget, any side of or facet of the business today.
And you guys are doing this all again tomorrow, right?
Absolutely.
With the first year anniversary.
First year anniversary extends to tomorrow. We technically opened April 1st last year. But as we all know, if we called our 1 year anniversary tomorrow, it'd actually be a year and a day. So we're calling it today. But tomorrow we're going to be doing the same thing. Again, if you come in and let us know that you heard us on ESPN, you're going to get some special deals.
I love it. And Dr. Sharon Simpson said another cake tomorrow as well, folks.
Another cake tomorrow, yes. We'll also have some goodie bags. We're going to be handing out goodie bags of candy. So anybody who comes in, any kid, adult, mom, dad, whatever, come on in and you'll be able to pick up a little bag of candy and get some cake, and we'll have some refreshments, drinks, just normal stuff. And again, we'll have some good deals.
I love it. Any thoughts on Shohei Ohtani and his future with the Los Angeles Angels?
Don't really actually have any thoughts on that, and let me tell you why. Because I really don't know what's going on with him, other than this. and my opinion of Shohei Ohtani is he is a fantastic, versatile player. And no matter where he ends up, he will be an asset to whatever team picks him up. My opinion about that is he'll end up on the Yankees. Why will he end up on the Yankees? Because the Yankees always the guys who make it always end up on the Yankees. Let's be real. So in the end, that's probably where he'll actually end up in the end. Now, will he leave the Angels now? I don't know. I mean, you could say the same thing about Mike Trout. When's enough? I mean, he's a great player, was a great player, is a great player, and will probably stay a great player. But I mean, he's getting older and he's going to get hurt more, and all the typical things. And where's he going to end up? Probably the Yankees. I'm just saying.
That could very well be true. The problematic portion of all of that is that both of those fellas play on the same team. And
I know
that they're getting, and they started the World Baseball Classic MVP last night. Starts off with 6 innings pitched, 2 hits given up, no runs given up, 3 walks, and 10 strikeouts. Another incredible performance. And what happens when he comes out of the game? They lose to possibly, actually factually, the worst baseball team in Major League Baseball, 2-1. And you just left there scratching your head. You see all of these stat lines like Shohei and Trout doing all of this, and it comes. It brings the fruit of a loss.
But that's it. Shohei and Trout.
Right.
I mean, that's it.
No, 100%.
If you have 2 out of 3 things, you only have 2 out of 3 things.
Right.
And so the problem is that you look at a team like the Braves, or somebody who has come, and you have to be well-rounded, in my opinion.
Oh, you do.
And so you can have 2 superstars, but they can't carry everything. They just can't. You got to have more than that, doing something at one time. And you don't even have to have superstars. You just have to have guys doing what they're supposed to do. And so as easy as it seems like, they could be stacked, the Angels aren't stacked. They have 2 awesome players. Send those players to a team who has 3 or 4 other awesome players. Let's call it the Lakers syndrome. Kind of in a way. You know what I'm saying? So ultimately, that's my opinion on it. Is that Shohei is awesome and Trout is awesome, but those 2 guys are not going to make the wins happen necessarily.
Speaking of that loss last night, and the Athletics winning, Miles, did we make a wager on the Athletics yesterday based off of your philosophy on betting against them all season long?
Yeah, I didn't start yesterday. I didn't bet against them, but I did take runs to be scored in the first inning, the opposite of a Nerfy, a no-run first inning,
right.
And that did not happen. So, but I did end up 2-1 yesterday. But I might have to start after this game on the Athletics, and they might be better than David's talking about.
That was caveman. That was caveman. Anyways, caveman Rick. And the funny thing about it is, caveman, don't poke the bear.
Don't poke the bear. Hey, the interesting part of all of this is we talked about the Oakland A's and what their venue would look like, how many people they would have in the seats. For the opening weekend, we were all guesstimating around like 5, 6, 7,000. They had 26,000 people inside of the Oakland Coliseum last night.
Nice.
According to the numbers anyways.
To watch Trout and Ohtani play.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm not disparaging that. I'm just saying that they put some tails in the seats last night, so that's good for the Oakland A's. Brian, anything sticking out to you from opening day?
No, just kind of along the same lines. It was fun to see, certainly from the hobby standpoint, all the stars performed yesterday. I mean, for the most part. Rushman going for 5 for 5 is
huge.
Awesome.
That's especially for PCB hobby. That is huge.
Not just for the hobby in general, but Bobby Witt was 3 for 4. Shohei throws 10 Ks. I mean, a lot of the stars came to play on day one,
except for Nola and DeGrom.
Well, yeah, I was going to leave those guys alone, but no, that's true. No, I think obviously all the talk's going to be around the pitch clock and about the faster game times and all, and that's all fine and well, but there seemed to be a better flow to the games, and that's what I enjoyed. Things kept moving, they kept progressing, and there wasn't as much mugging for the camera and everything like that I've said for a long time that has bothered me. But it was just a great day of baseball. It's fun to see everybody play on opening day, and we're just off to a great start. I mean, there was a lot of great stuff.
I think all the stolen bases yesterday was pretty great seeing that. Is it because of the new bigger bases? Is it because the rules of throwing back to the base just a couple of times? I don't know what is the reason for it. I guess it'll figure it out through the rest of the season, and we'll see what maybe the biggest reason of it is. But I think it's kind of cool the small ball game is kind of coming back.
So go ahead.
That's true. And the funny thing is I kind of parallel to the NFL. The NFL has done a lot in the last couple years of making changes to make the games go faster, more fair. And when I say fair, I'm not talking about not tackling. I'm talking about, instant replay, things like that, just to make sure that the right calls are being made and stuff like that. And I think the MLB, I think, is finally learning that there is some things that they can do to make the game a little bit smoother, yet still powerful and fun.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we're looking at some of these numbers here. An average of 2 hours and 45 minutes compared to 3 hours and 3 minutes last year. 14 clock violations, 8 of those by a pitcher, 4 by a batter, 1 by Pete Alonso at first base causing a strike on Jeff McNeil, and 1 by a catcher. What was the, what the violation on the catcher was? I'm not entirely sure either. So we had some, basically, it seems like this. If the game's going to be a shutout, it'll probably run around 2:15 to 2.5 hours. If both teams are scoring runs, though, you're going to get about the same time limit of a game in 3 hours. Now, here's the other thing, though. If you look back at some of the other blowouts, those games could run 3.5, 4 hours easy. And now, so they are cutting down some of the time for those blowout games and for closely contested games as well. The longest game yesterday was 3 hours and 38 minutes between the Blue Jays and the Cardinals. The Braves were right there at their kind of average 3 hours and 7 minutes. So I like it. I mean, I think that it's going to grow on people. For people who were a fan of it already, then it's a great thing.
Well,
it's moving in the right direction.
Especially a high-scoring game, you're right. And a high-scoring game is going to obviously be longer.
And you're not going to mind watching a longer game. Exactly.
Right, because that's excitement, right. But you sit there and you have a 2-1 game or a 2-0 game or a 1-0 game, and you blow through it in 2 minutes, 2 hours and 30 minutes. I think that's good. I mean, it's over, it's done. It's, it was what it was.
And you brought up the stolen bases, 21 stolen bases yesterday, which
5 last season, I believe, on opening day.
Right, we'll get to that. So 21 stolen bases, 2 of those were caught, which is a 91% success rate, which is okay, but I don't want to see 91% because that's, as much as I love stolen bases, what is that saying about the catchers? Now they have absolutely no shot. The pitchers have no chance to pick anyone off. So we'll see how that rears its ugly head. Last year, like you said, 5 stolen bases, and 4 of those were 4 caught stealing, so that was a 56% average or 56% chance that they were going to get caught.
I would say
also, here's another. On the
catchers.
It could very well be, but here's the other thing: we're looking at for the first time since 1968, we had a full slate of opening day games with 15 games. Whereas you look at 2022, I'm sitting here looking for the numbers, haven't been able to find them yet, but there was not as many games in 2022, so that's also a number to kind of look at as well.
I just think the catchers, though, they're not used to trying to throw somebody out because there's so few stolen base attempts.
Yeah, there was.
So now if you have a bunch, these catchers that don't normally, have a great arm and can't throw that great, they're going to have a problem. And if you know this, guys are going to run on you.
Yeah, they're going to steal, for sure.
All right, we're going to have Todd back here with us here in a little bit. Throughout the day, we'll have Todd Mueller on with us. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. We've got the Real Fishing Report coming up next with Tim Braddock and Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle. We'll be right back after this.
ESPN Northwest Florida has the Real Local Fishing Report. Hi, this is Tim from Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle. Join me every Friday at 4:20 during the Afternoon Underdogs. It's accurate, detailed content from local anglers, plus fishing updates on Saturday and Sunday morning right when you hit the water. Advice and stories from local anglers. Tune into the Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle Fishing Report, exclusively on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Sunshine, a few scattered clouds this afternoon. Temperatures in the mid-to-upper 70s. Water temperature in the Gulf is 69. South wind up to 25. A few showers, maybe a thunderstorm overnight. Mostly cloudy, breezy, around 65 to 70. More showers and thunderstorms Saturday. Highs near 80 degrees. This weather forecast has been brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. For ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
Chuck was terrible at fishing. He spent many frustrating hours attempting to get results he saw from internet videos, aggravating trial and error fishing trips, and misguided advice from well-intended friends. Chuck is happy now with his newfound success after he visited Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle where we keep fishing fun, simple, and successful. See us soon at Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle, located directly off Highway 98 on the west end of Panama City Beach.
Game days are always better at Dave & Buster's. That's because more TV inches, more food and drinks, more space, and more fun make the game we all know and love more special. Nothing beats seeing your favorite team take the field on the two 12-foot big screens or 26 75-inch TVs. Throw in the arcade experience and you've got a winning atmosphere that no other sports bar can deliver. Follow the fun at Dave & Buster's Panama City Beach on Facebook and Instagram. Eat, drink, play, and watch sports at Dave & Buster's.
The Real Fishing Report. It's expert insider information from Tim at Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle. What's biting? What bait to use? Where to cast? And now, the Real Fishing Report. On 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we are back. You're right with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. We're out here at PCB Hobby for the 1-year anniversary. Come on by. We've got 2-for-1 sports single cards, and we've got 10% off for sealed product if you come up and mention ESPN Northwest Florida. Now it's time for the Real Fishing Report with Tim Braddock and Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle. Give me some good news, Tim.
Oh,
what are we catching this week? You fixed it, and once we got started, you broke it.
It broke immediately.
We could just send Miles over there to hold it for you.
It's okay. I'm just wanting to know where the cake is.
Where's the cake?
I heard there was cake.
I think you got to come back tomorrow for the cake now.
Man,
I'm good for leftovers on cake.
I'm good for leftovers.
Well, let's talk a lot about fishing.
Yeah, let's do it.
Fishing's good. And I actually was a little embarrassed to come in. This is a guest location that we're having it at, and I smell horribly like fish today.
Oh.
That's what you're supposed to smell like, man. That's your job.
Usually I take a shower, go smoke a cigar, and then come in and do the fishing report. Today, y'all getting a full board today, so I do apologize. Let's talk about what's happening on the surf, particularly. We were out this morning, and in about a half-mile stretch between 5 of us, there were over 30 fish caught. And some of those had to be released because we were at limits. So the pompano bite from the surf is really starting to pick up. That is something that we will continue to see over the next 2 weeks or so. One really cool story, if you've listened to this report for any time, you know we really like the stories and try to hear about exactly what the guys are doing. But I was sitting there on Inlet Beach this morning, and a friend of mine had come down and join us. And this young boy, about 6-7 years old, come up and was telling me about catching this salmon in Michigan. And, you know, he's giving me the grace. Tell me it's 45 pounds.
45 pounds.
45-pound salmon. I mean, I'm looking at the kid, and he's probably 45
pounds himself.
Right. And I said, buddy, how long did it take you to reel that in? He said, man, it took me about 30 minutes to reel that fish in. And I'm looking around, and I don't see any, parents or anything. And then about 5 minutes into his story, his dad comes walking down. And I said, your son, was sitting here explaining to me that he caught a 45-pound salmon. He said, oh, no, that thing was only 35 pounds.
Only?
And, yeah, he said it was only 35 pounds. I said, well, he's off to a good start at fishing. So it was a nice family from Michigan. Me and his dad sat there and talked for probably another 5 minutes. And he's like, son, you know what? We bothered this guy long enough. Let's go. And I said, man, you guys aren't bothering me. I said, this is really what I do all day long. And it wasn't, the old boy said, I got one more question for you. I said, okay. And he says, how can you tell when the fish are biting? Now, that's an important question.
Yeah, right.
Most people would think, man, you just watch the rod. And, when the rod bends, you got a fish, right? But the surf, if you've been down to the Gulf today, that surf is stirred up. And so the rods this morning, even with Sputnik weights, had a rhythmic move to them. And so you really had to be attentive to whether you had a bite or not. And I said, buddy, I said about the time that one of those fish hits that rod, I said, it starts looking like a little machine gun, like it vibrates real fast. And I said, there'll be no doubt that there's a fish on that line. I said, when it's rhythmic, that's waves. And no sooner had he asked me that question than a pompano hit the center rod that we had, and that little boy from Michigan got to sit there and reel up.
Oh, nice.
Very first pompano. So he was hugged, you know.
Yeah.
He's like, Dad, we got to go get. They're leaving tomorrow morning, and this little boy's wanting to stay. You know, they sit there and watch us reeling fish after fish after. He's like, Dad, we got to stay. We got to go get gear.
So how big was this pompano they caught?
That pompano this morning was 19 and a half inches to the fork. So he caught the biggest one out of the entire.
How much weight-wise would you say?
It was about 2.9 pounds.
So when he goes home, it's going to be a 4.5 pounder. Then.
There you go. I mean,
when he tells his friends, right?
You know, he's got this down to a science. He is an expert at this by now. And so I say that in the report today to say, hey, if you've never surf fished or you never tried to catch one in the Gulf, I encourage you get out. I mean, really the next 2 weeks will be great. It is a little windy. Will be windy today, and it will be windy heavily tomorrow. Sunday afternoon's kind of looking like our first time where that water starts to. We get a north wind coming in Sunday afternoon. It's going to smooth out the Gulf a little bit for us, and we're looking forward to some great. The fish are here. You can go out and fish it. You got to have heavy Sputniks in the surf, but Sunday's looking like that fun day. You know, when it's fun to take the family or friends out and go enjoy some surf fishing.
Where's a great place to go get those Sputnik weights at?
Yeah, you can come get the Sinker Guy Sputnik weights at Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle, west end of Panama City Beach. And we are fully stocked in 6, 8, 10, and 12 ounce Sputniks.
God, so you got it all covered. It's just like PCB Hobby. If you've got a hobby, they've got it covered. If you need any bait or anything to do with fishing, Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle's got your back.
We got it covered. Can you imagine throwing a 10-ounce Sputnik weight? I mean...
and that's just the weight. That's not anything else that's tied to the line as well.
That's not the bait, whether it's...
I guess swivel, hooks, you know, if you have a couple drop rigs, your bait that's on there too. So that's a lot of weight you're throwing.
Yeah. So that's the surf, and we'll highlight the surf a lot in these fishing reports over the next 2 to 3 weeks just because there's so much activity. But let's talk about the pier a little bit as well. Pier fishing's been great. Bubble rigs are our number one seller right now, number one requested item. And either y'all familiar with a bubble rig?
Yeah, because of you.
Yeah,
you taught me.
definitely.
We have them. We call them in the store the Magic Bubble.
The Magic Bubble.
And then we also have Spanish mackerel have showed up in great numbers.
Yes.
Both down in Destin toward the pass and Panama City.
Deepwater Point right over there. They were crushing them over there last Saturday.
Yeah.
Just got to find the bait.
Just got to find the bait. Or come by Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle and buy your live shrimp.
There you go.
Or buy a mackerel tree.
Now what's a mackerel tree?
Yeah, mackerel tree is a rig that's about 20 inches long and has 3 to 4 different sets of hooks on it. And those rigs can be cast. In a lot of cases, we pull them behind boats or kayaks at slow knots. So, you know, typically 3 to 5 knots. We put a small weight on those mackerel trees to put them just below the surface as we're pulling along. And the mackerel tree, remember we talked about the straw rig? Do you remember that McDonald's straw?
Absolutely, because you like to use things like
the latex.
Yeah.
The latex that goes for your sunglasses. And, man, I feel like I'm doing some good here.
We're learning.
Y'all are learning.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And not only that, though, behind the scenes, I'm putting my friends on stuff. I'm like, look, all you got to do is you just go listen from 420 till 440 if you're into fishing, and you're gonna pick up some things.
And they think you're the man.
No, they know Tim Braddock is the man.
I pastored for about 8 years in Dessa. I started a church over there called Emerald Coast Baptist Church.
Yeah.
One of the gentlemen I pastored said he had been there for right at 7 years. He said, Tim, I've learned one thing from you while you've been my pastor, and I thought this was going to be something great. And I said, what's that? He said, how to catch fish and how to cook fish.
There you go. There you go.
Man, if that's all I can teach somebody in life, I think they'll be doing all right.
Yeah, they can feed themselves.
But that's exactly right. So we covered the surf. It's the hot topic. pier is a steady or a solid choice to make. But offshore is going to be a little bit bumpy this weekend. If you want to go offshore, you have to want to go. It will be tolerable, but you will. It'll be a little bit rough, particularly on your way out. Once you get past probably about 10 to 12 nautical miles, at that point, it'll probably smooth out a little bit for you. Particularly later evenings, we'll have some diminishing winds. If you've ever fished like that, you understand you go out in the morning and it's a little bit of a rough ride on your way out. But, man, that ride in, there is nothing more glorious than...
Especially if you got a cooler full of fish.
Yeah.
Cooler full of fish.
I'm going to go with Tim on that.
For the cold beverage.
We'll take a little bit of both, though, right?
I'd rather not do the beverage as long as I know I caught fish.
Yeah.
I can do without the beverage.
Well, I've been very fortunate. Usually when we're coming back in, we have a cooler full of fish.
And a cooler full, and the other cooler ain't full no more.
And the other cooler's full of fish whistle.
Fish whistles.
But let's talk about offshore. We have vermilion beeliners, mingo, all the same fish, as most of you know. Depends on where you're from, what they're being called. That's kind of been the headliner over the past week. And tons of red snapper being caught. Obviously, those have to be put back. Having a vent tool on board or a release
you have to.
bait has been required by FWC. But the rule that goes in effect April 1st, so starting tomorrow, you have to have that readily available, and it has to be rigged and ready to go. So you can't just have it, tucked away. The vent tool has to be ready to go, and then the descending tool has to be ready to drop that fish back down. And that's important to note. FWC is really putting a big emphasis on that. We got 2 news bulletins about it this week. So I have a full suspicion that they'll be focusing on that this weekend and over the next couple weeks. So,
is that a tool that you guys carry?
Yeah, so that's something you can pick up in shop. Most of your local bait and tackle shops have those tools readily available now. It was something that was talked about 4 or 5 years ago, and then last year was the first year where we saw it become a requirement. Then this year you have to have it out and ready to go.
Yeah, it can't be like a life jacket or anything where it's just kind of sitting
like stowed away, and hidden, and you have to have it like where when that fish is up and it has to be punctured and deflated to go back down, you can just grab it, do it, put the fish in. That's because in the time if you're trying to fumble around and get that thing or find it,
that fish could die.
That fish is probably going to die or something.
That's exactly right. And so if you've ever seen it, if you've never seen it, I'll quickly describe it. But those fish obviously come from 60 to 90 feet. Sometimes greater than that. We'll catch them, 300 to 1,000 feet, just depending on where you're at. But when they come up, it looks like they've got a big tongue sticking out of their mouth. And most people that fish know that's their air bladder. But if you've never fished, you're like, what in the world's happened to my fish here? And so you've got to pop that bladder so that the fish can descend back down and heal back to normal.
Not to mention they got a gauntlet to go through because it's going down to the bottom. If there's dolphins or something around,
dolphins, sharks, sharks, and more
big
sharks.
amberjacks, depending on the size of the fish you're trying to put down. But they gotta make it down to the bottom again.
What if it's a keeper? What if you're keeping that fish? Do you still pop the air bladder?
No,
I've actually never done this before.
So if you keep the fish, he goes in the cooler.
And just goes in. You ain't got to pop nothing. Yeah. I was watching the
That's
Bassmaster.
a great question, though.
Yeah,
I mean it's a normal logical thought, but once you pull him up, you put him in the cooler, and he's done for.
Yeah, because I was watching the Bassmaster Classic, and they were pulling them up. They were catching smallmouth off the ledge, and they were catching them 50, 60 feet, and they were doing that with bass. I was like, now I've seen that from saltwater, from deep, deep water fishing, but I've never seen that in freshwater fishing before. I've never caught a bass from 40 feet either, so that was very interesting.
Right. And it's an atmospheric change, or it's a pressure change ultimately that causes that bladder to swell, and that's why it pops out.
Yeah, it's not you're reeling them up too fast. They don't have time to acclimate or for it to do its thing, and stay right, I guess.
It's like kind of the same way with yourself diving, right?
Like getting the bends or something like that coming up too fast, probably.
Well, look, we got a few minutes left, and I want to play a little bit of this or that.
Okay, this or that, baby. Let's go.
So particularly Caveman Rick, and then obviously you, David, if you want to jump in. But would you surf fish, or would you rather go inshore fishing?
Inshore fishing.
Well, for me, inshore.
Okay.
Yeah, I think inshore.
David, what would you say is the allure to the inshore fishing?
For me, I prefer I don't want to say I prefer bass fishing because that's not true, but that's what I kind of grew up doing. So with that in the flats kind of deal, it's very similar, especially with the retrieval method.
Okay. Let's do this. If you're fishing from the surf, this or that, would you prefer catching pompano or would you prefer catching a redfish?
I'd rather catch a red. Them things got big shoulders on them. They can peel some drag and strip your reel, so give me a red.
I guess going back to the bass thing, yeah, I think redfish. What about for you?
For me, it'd be pompano.
Pompano?
Yeah. Man, they're so good.
They taste
I don't
good.
think I've ever had a pompano before. I don't think I've ever ate a pompano.
Well, we need to change that.
Yeah.
And but if you've never eaten a pompano, my absolute favorite way to cook those is to keep it simple. Cut the heads off and cut the fins off, leave the tail on, whole body. We put a little check cut in there, lemon, pepper, and salt.
Oh, you're making the listeners' mouth water right now.
That's when you know it starts getting good. And you put it in the oven at 350. You want me to teach you the secret? In every fishing element, there's a secret, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you take a little bit of Parmesan cheese and panko crust and mix it together with just a tiny bit of olive oil and pat that on top, when you're done, crank that up to 500 degree, broil it for about 5 minutes, and it'll be the best fish dish you've ever had.
Let me ask you this. Since you're the surf fishing guy, what is your dream fish to catch in the surf that you haven't caught yet, but you'd like to if you have a chance? Or
I would love to catch a cobia from surf.
Yeah.
And we had a customer actually do that last year. Complete fluke, had never fished before, lived up in the Northeast.
Were you jealous?
They kayaked their bait out, and they caught them on a sand flea fish bite.
Wow.
And we got photo evidence, everything, all the pictures there. Landed it from the beach in Grayton.
Golly.
So, I mean, I've been down here fishing 18 years and never had anything that cool happen. This cat comes down one time out of the Northeast and catches a nice cobia.
I think I would like something exotic down here, like since we're in Panama City, like the few times people have caught bonefish from the surf or something like that, or like a snook or something that's totally just out of the blue and off the wall.
I caught a cowfish off the marina one time. That was like a daggum alien.
Yeah, those stargazer. You ever seen a stargazer? Look downs. Toadfish.
Yep.
Oh man.
Mother-in-law fish.
How about a sea robin?
Yeah.
Have you ever caught them before?
Yeah. I've never caught one, but I've seen them.
Oh, we got a lot of them up northeast around New Jersey where I used to fish. Catch lots of bluefish, flounder, sea robins, bass.
Yeah, those mother-in-law fish they're hideous.
Yeah, they are. Crazy, too, because they almost got like these legs on them.
Yeah.
Big fins by their gills. They just almost look like, remember that?
They look amphibious.
Remember from Jurassic Park, that one lizard that had the frill things that came out of its neck? They look kind of like that sea robins do. Yeah.
That's exactly how that mother-in-law fish
goodness gracious. I bet the guy who came up with that name, he might have had a great relationship with his
family functions at Thanksgiving and Christmas really suck.
Absolutely.
Might be divorced.
So what's the weather looking like this weekend?
Yeah, real quick. Weather's looking moderate. Winds are going to be high again. Saturday, they'll be diminishing on Sunday afternoon. It's looking about the best time to be able to get out and enjoy as far as weather goes. But rule number one to fishing.
Have fun.
Have fun. Fish when you can.
Fish when you can.
So don't let the weather deter you this weekend. It shouldn't have low chances, thunderstorms, maybe a pop-up here and there. But we're looking forward to having a lot of fish caught this weekend.
Tight lines, everybody.
Tight lines. That was Tim Braddock with Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. We're going to take a quick time out. We'll be right back in a minute.
Atlanta Braves baseball is back.
Struck out another one. Max Fried is perfect. Swing and a drive. That's hammered deep right.
We're your exclusive radio home for the Atlanta Braves.
First pitch of the game nails Ronald Acuna Jr. And now the Braves are coming out of their dugout looking at a rain.
Hear every exciting home run, every strikeout, and every thrilling victory on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Let your spring adventures begin today at Bill Bird Kia. The SUV family is built for all adventures, and the possibilities are endless. Now offering 3.25% APR for up to 48 months on the purchase of a new 2023 Kia Sorento. You'll get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. Bill Bird Kia is the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us today, 2435 East 15th Street, or anytime online at BillBirdKia.com. We're going to treat you like family and give you that peace of mind that you can trust.
Offer from Kia Finance for the purchase of a new 2023 Kia Sorento with $22.22 per month per $1,000 finance at 48 months. Quantities limited. No down payment required. Cannot be combined with other finance offers. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 4/3/23.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
All-Star Grand Marshals are announced as the Cup Series goes short track racing this weekend. I'm Kyle Rickey. Those stories next on NASCAR Hot Pass.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. You're driving along and some nimrod cuts you off. You hit the horn. Jeez, it sounds like a goose in distress. Time to head over to eBay Motors. They have horns for every make and model, not to mention horn pads, steering wheels, wiring, and more. 122 million parts. You can even go for an upgrade. It looks like Mr. Cutoff Man needs a new seat cover. Try eBay Motors, pal. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
Here's football star Tony Romo for Skechers Max Cushioning Footwear.
You know when you go to your kid's game and you have to sit on those uncomfortable, super hard bleachers? That's how I feel now when I wear regular shoes. Why? Because once I started wearing Skechers Max Cushioning, I've been spoiled with how amazing extra cushioning feels. Skechers maxed out the cushioning with a thick, comfy slice of super light Ultra Go cushioning for soft, pillowy feel with every step.
See all the fashionable styles of Max Cushioning at the Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
The NASCAR Cup Series returns to one of the sport's longtime short tracks this weekend, Richmond Raceway, with Sunday's running of the Toyota Owners 400. It's the first points race of the season at a track under a mile with the new aerodynamic package on the second-year race car. Denny Hamlin and Kevin Harvick were the two winners at the three-quarter-mile track a year ago. Practice and qualifying is set for tomorrow, while our live coverage of the Toyota Owners 400 is on Sunday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And seven-time champion Richard Petty and three-time champion Darrell Waltrip have been announced as co-grand marshals for the NASCAR All-Star Race at North Wilkesboro Speedway on May 21st. The two have a combined 25 victories at the track that the sport will return to the first time since 1996. I'm Kyle Rickey. This is NASCAR Hot Pass on the Motor Racing Network.
The new app from ESPN Northwest Florida has up-to-the-minute sports news, interaction with local hosts in real time, easy download and no credit check, live streaming, real-time traffic and programming schedules, 40 miles per gallon, rack and pinion steering, leather interior, and built-in alarm clock.
Here's how to order.
Download our free app from the Apple Store and Google Play.
Dynamite!
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Teachers shape the future. Right now, in a classroom somewhere in the United States, there's a teacher inspiring a future scientist who'll make preventing pandemics their life's work. Sharpening the mind of an aspiring environmentalist who'll help combat climate change. And generating possibilities for a student who'll be the first in their family to graduate college. Explore a career that leaves a legacy you can be proud of. Teach. Learn more and receive free support at teach.org.
ESPN Northwest Florida. The NCAA Men's Basketball Championship Tournament plays here.
And that'll do it! The Knights have slain the Dragon!
Exclusively on ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we are back riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. We are live at PCB Hobby out here on Back Beach next to Florida Linens. Come in and mention ESPN Northwest Florida, get 10% off of sealed products, sports cards only, and also 2 for 1 on the trading cards.
In the dollar box.
Box, yeah.
Didn't Todd say Bill said something about the
Pokemon
TCGs as well? Yeah, or Pokemon.
Yeah, 520. We'll have to twist Bill's arm, see if we can't get him online with everything
I like
else.
that. Well, one of the we do have the Final Four this weekend, and the coverage for that's going to be starting at 3:30. We're going to get you out to the San Diego State FAU game first, and then we'll wrap up the evening with UConn versus Miami, and whoever wins those games will be playing Monday in the national championship. Coverage will be starting Monday at 5:30 for the national championship. One of the things that's caught my eye over there, Brian, is the mystery box for baseball. $50 mystery box, 5 hobby packs, and a graded card. That seems like a really good deal.
It's a great deal, and it's a great thing for people who come in and they know their kid's into, or their brother, their friend, whatever's into baseball cards, but they don't really know exactly what to get them. And so what we did is we took 5 different hobby products and put in a pack, or 5 different hobby packs, and put them in this little mystery pack, and also put a graded card in there as well. Those graded cards could be anywhere from like $10 in value up to $40 by themselves. And then the packs, the value of those would be $40 to $50 anyway. So, and there have been autographs pulled out of these. Yesterday or Tuesday, we sold one that had a Bobby Witt autograph that came out of them. So it's, products from Topps, Prism, different things like that in the hobby. It's actually a great little fun rip, and it's a fun starter set if you don't know what to get for someone who collects.
Is that considered sealed?
Yeah, all the packs are still sealed. I mean, they've just come out of a hobby box. The packs have not been opened.
So they
10% on
Northwest Florida.
That'd be fine.
10%
Come on.
off,
Let's
man.
go.
And it's a beautiful
but they're going
blue.
fast.
Yeah.
We had 24 of them to start the week. I think we're down to maybe 7 or 8. So
I mean, you guys got a bunch of great deals. I'm just looking across the wall. And
we actually just put basketball together. It's one hobby pack, 4 retail, but one of the retail packs is from 2019-20, which was Zion and Ja's rookie year.
Oh, let's go.
And so they have a lot of those capabilities, plus a slabbed card in the basketball pack as well. So, yeah, there's a lot of that. The high-end hobby boxes are here, the mid-tier mega boxes and things. And even, if you're just looking to have a fun rip and get a lower line blaster box, we've got everything.
Is Zion still worth a lot, being the fact that he doesn't play a whole lot? And I mean, he's basically
his values have dropped a fairly good bit just because he constantly stays injured and everything. Now, Ja dropped, but he's come back up now because he's been playing again.
Right.
So
I think how Zion could benefit from this operation could make a game that instead of having the original figure of operation,
the guy with the clown nose.
Yeah, exactly. We just have Zion on there, and everyone could try to work on fixing Zion Williamson, and maybe that could help his value.
That's a good idea.
That'd be nice. It'd help us sell those boxes, too.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I'll get to work on it. I'll go, who's it, the Hasbro brothers?
Zion Ration, or Parker
Milton
Brothers,
Bradley,
maybe Milt
something
Bradley,
like
something like that.
Yeah, no doubt. So, we talked a little bit about your thoughts from opening day. Is there anything else that's standing out to you in the world of baseball?
It's the most excited I've been for opening day in years.
Is that because of the rules, or?
I don't know. Some of it could be that I'm back
you're
in the
back
hobby.
in the
hobby.
hobby?
Honest to God,
no
I've been
doubt.
out of the hobby for
That's
30
probably
years.
it.
But I think a lot of it has to do with there's so many great rookies and second-year guys in the league right now, and they're contributing.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't the case where you necessarily need 7, 8, 9 years on these guys. I mean, look at the young guns that are out there right now and what they're doing. I think that's been fun, too, because, we've got our established stars, but there's a lot of new names to follow. And, look, hope always springs eternal in April. Everybody's got a chance, right?
Even the
so
Reds.
It's fun seeing some of these young guns kind of leading their teams early on and seeing what's going on. And we may get to end of July and, the season's over, we'll look ahead. But right now, I'm just excited for baseball. And as much as I love the game, I've always loved the game, this is the most excited I've been for an opening day in many years.
World Baseball Classic probably helps, too.
I think that definitely
getting everybody
had an
kind of
effect.
geared up and getting them ready to go. So now it is opening day, but in a way it kind of isn't when you've had that important baseball being played already the last month.
I think that's a good point.
I don't know, though, because it was still very exciting for opening day baseball just because of opening day baseball. But I think the World Baseball Classic did.
Yeah, I think the caveman's point is you got, all right, here we go. Now we're ready.
Yeah.
But remember, pretty much all these guys were playing.
And a lot of these guys now, they're in better form than if they just started playing yesterday.
Yeah.
Because they've already been playing for a month.
You know what I was also a little surprised by? I mean, nobody just
games.
got trucked yesterday. I mean, Dodgers 8, Diamondbacks 2 is probably the most lopsided score on the board. I mean, usually somebody gets just blown out on day one. So this wasn't, there were some good competitive games.
There were some surprising games.
Absolutely.
Dylan Cease hanging in there strong, and the White Sox beating the Astros.
Yeah.
Blue Jays, Cardinals, and Phillies and Rangers. Rangers were surprisingly playing well. They didn't look too hot to start it out, but to see DeGrom and Aaron Nola both struggle early, that's not I don't think that's the telltale sign for DeGrom. I'm glad that the Braves didn't sign him, but we just let him settle in, and he's going to find his way. I guess one of my other questions is that at bat for Mike Trout between Shohei Ohtani? He starts the season out 0 for 3. He did get kind of robbed of a hit. Great play by the center fielder for the Oakland A's. But do you think that this could be something that's lasting for Mike Trout, being on the same team with a guy who beat him in a one-on-one matchup?
I don't think that's the issue. I'm worried. I'm worried that Trout's back is having a significant effect. Not so much in the pain that he's feeling, but he may be. Look, when you deal with any kind of injury or any kind of lingering ailment like that, football players talk about it. When you've had a knee injury, the knee is 100%, but you cut differently because in the back of your mind, you're thinking about it. You're worried about it. I almost wonder if maybe there's something in Trout's mind with his back that's affecting him. I don't know.
Maybe if he thought he had a chance to win. Being in the team and the situation he's been in his whole entire career, like if you're going out there every day and you just really don't think you're going to do anything and you guys are going to win and go win a World Series, why are you going to, give it your all? I mean, you should, but it's been this long, with unsatisfactory results.
Yeah. We talked about this Wednesday. Do you think if the Angels offered Shohei Ohtani $1 billion and that's not guaranteeing any type of, we're going to go after the players to get you what you need to win, do you think he would take $1 billion with the Angels knowing he's going to lose, or would he rather go somewhere else for $500 million
I think Shohei
and
leaves.
win?
Shohei, of those two, will go to try and win.
Yeah.
But I also think he wants to stay on the West Coast, which is why I think Seattle has made the moves to position to bring Shohei in as the final piece for their, and that's what I think is going to happen.
And they looked good last
I think that's
night,
going to happen.
too. The
this
Mariners
year.
did.
I think this year, around the trade deadline, I think Shohei's going to end up with the Mariners.
Would that be one of the biggest trades in baseball history?
Yes.
I mean, and we don't even know what the...
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. What the package is going to look like.
Well, it's like somebody like Gretzky getting traded in the prime of your career.
I mean,
it's
when
so
is that
huge.
not wild to
It
say,
doesn't
though,
matter.
When he went to the Kings, that was a massive deal that transcended all sports.
Now, he
one of the
hasn't
best
been
documentaries I've ever
He hasn't been in the
watched,
league
King's
as long as Gretzky. He hasn't put up the numbers that Gretzky had at that point, but
the potential's there.
very similar. Exactly.
Now, as that speaks to Trout, part of the issue with Trout that we never really know what's going on is because Trout's not out there.
Yeah.
We don't really know.
He was kind of already a big star before social media had taken over.
But he's a very different kind of star.
He
doesn't seek the limelight. He's not he doesn't market himself. He's the kind of guy that you almost think, the reason I said of the two, Shohei Trout may just be content to just go play ball.
Yeah.
He may like it in
He's
L.A.
making good money, too.
or Anaheim or whatever suburb of L.A. they call him. It's all L.A. to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. But that's the problem. We don't know with Trout because he's just not out there. You don't really know.
Yeah,
I do think Shohei's on the move this year, though, because I don't think the Angels are going to be good enough come the trade deadline to warrant him staying.
And I know it's just game one of 162, but that is not the look that you want against the A's. And I think that this is it's definitely not the first time that this has happened with the A's taking down the Angels early in the season. And if this is in the back of Shohei's mind, then and after coming off of the World Baseball Classic Championship, there's no way that he can be happy with what happened last night.
But it won't be what happened last night. It'll be the fact that we didn't make any moves.
Well, he could also, in his mind, Shohei, Mike Trout, he's supposed to be this great player. He hasn't done nothing in the playoffs because, he hasn't been there, right?
That's right.
Now you get to this incredible stage where he could actually, do something to try to help his team win a championship, and he fails miserably against Shohei. So maybe in Shohei's mind, he's thinking, this guy just can't get it done. Like, when the chips are on the table and we need it and we need to win, I can't count on him. So maybe that's another reason why he bounces.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be the thing that everyone's got their eyes on this trade deadline anyway.
He's going to get paid regardless.
Look,
He's
we
making
just went
money.
through it in basketball. This could be one of the biggest trade deadline years for baseball ever.
What's another big name? Well, obviously,
it's
we
hard
just
to
got
say.
yeah,
I mean, look,
we just got started.
What's going to happen in San Diego?
Mm-hmm.
San Diego's stockpiled a lot of talent. What if they're floundering? Do they offload some of this stuff? I don't know. There just seem to be so many potential moves out there that this could look. It might be a dud and nothing happens, but I don't know. That's the fun of April, man.
Yeah, it is the fun of April.
It's not even April yet. That's the fun of the end of March.
It is.
You know?
I mean, it's April.
I think you can just foresee the trade deadline's become such a huge thing now. I think you could just foresee a lot of big moves, and that's going to be interesting.
Well, and the thing now, too, though, with adding the extra, wild card in there, too, a lot more teams are in it towards the end, so, they're not going to be, doing fire sales and getting rid of everybody. A lot more teams are going to try to stay in it.
Yeah, absolutely. We're getting ready to go to a break. Last night, we had the NIT championship game on ESPN Northwest Florida. North Texas getting the win. Jalen Walker couldn't come through for UAB last night. So North Texas gets the win 68-61. And after that, their head coach is headed to Texas Tech to take over that job. That's Grant McCaslin. Conference USA is having a big-time year. We'll talk a little bit more about that when we return. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. You're listening to ESPN Northwest Florida 104.3 in Panama City, 102.1 in Mariana, 101.9 in Port St. Joe. We're going to be right back for hour number 2 of the Afternoon Underdogs. Don't you go nowhere.
ESPN Northwest Florida presents the Final Four. Coverage starts tomorrow at 3:30 with Florida Atlantic versus San Diego State.
The San Diego State Aztecs for the first time.
Then UConn and Miami.
Miami is going to the Final Four.
Plus, winners face off Monday night in the men's championship game. Listen live in ultra high fidelity right here. It's ESPN Northwest Florida.
Sunshine, a few scattered clouds this afternoon. Temperatures in the mid-to-upper 70s. Water temperature in the Gulf is 69. South wind up to 25. A few showers, maybe a thunderstorm overnight. Mostly cloudy, breezy, around 65 to 70. More showers and thunderstorms Saturday. Highs near 80 degrees. This weather forecast has been brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. For ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
Golf Plus is your premier golf shop on the Gulf Coast. Not a big box or a chain store, but a local store with golf experts to serve you. An amazing array of demo and fitting products, plus a professional repair shop that can handle anything from a basic re-grip to a full set of re-shafts and everything in between. Golf Plus has locations in Dothan and Panama City Beach to serve you. Come see them today for all your golf needs. Located next to Firefly at the shops at Edgewater. Call 850-249-2726.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WTOT, W271DM Mariana, WFLQ Port St. John, powered by Pepsi, ESPN Northwest Florida.
By now, you've heard us talking about Tiger TV Pro. Hi, David Hayes from the Afternoon Underdogs, here to remind you about this incredible streaming service with over 6,000 premium channels. And the cost, you ask? $15 a month. Yes, only $15 a month. Every sports channel is available, including the ACC and SEC network, the NFL, NBA, MLB, HBO, Showtime, and thousands more. For more info, go to our website at espnpc.com. Scroll down and click the Tiger logo.
We don't sell the steak.
You can stir this all up.
We sell the sizzle. Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs.
Very spicy.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
I wasn't
We are back. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida, your home for the Atlanta Braves in Northwest Florida. Opening day we had yesterday, Braves at the Nationals. Listen live in ultra high fidelity on ESPN Northwest Florida. Coverage starting Sunday at 11:20. We'll get to the first pitch at 12:35. The Atlanta Braves are sponsored locally by Best Way Portable Buildings, Dave & Buster's, Guthrie's, PCB Hobby, and Gulf Coast Aquarium. We are out here at PCB Hobby right now. We've got 50% or not 50%, 2 for 1 single sports cards from the singles
from the
drawer,
dollar boxes.
From the dollar box.
And 3 sports, baseball, basketball, football, and there's a lot of great stuff in there. Big names.
Still got college in there and stuff?
There's some of the college guys.
Let's go. We've also got, if you mention ESPN Northwest Florida for the sports cards only, sealed content, we've got 10% off if you mention ESPN Northwest Florida.
Right.
And we're going to be twisting Bill's arm to try to get that done for the trading card
may take
games
all of us,
as
but we'll
well.
get it done.
We've got to get to Miles here in just a second. Wanted to talk about the NIT just a little bit deeper. This is the 4th NIT championship game to feature conference opponents. That was Conference USA, North Texas, and UAB meeting for the 4th time of their season. And that was the first time in the NIT that it featured conference opponents in 20 years. Conference USA is now 18-2 in the NCAA postseason, with Charlotte winning the CBI, the College Basketball Invitational, and FAU advancing to the Final Four. Tyler Perry was your NIT MVP, and Conference USA has been having some great basketball this year. We'll see how far FAU can take it. Miles, last night in the Dodgers game, we had a proposal. Guy jumps down, gets into the outfield, gets down onto his knee.
Looked like a streaker at first.
And then what happened?
Yeah, so a guy jumps in the field, looks like a streaker, turns around, looks like, I think, left field. He said about halfway in the outfield, left field, turned around, staring at his girlfriend in the stands. He gets on one knee, he's staring at her, she's taking a video of him. About 15 seconds into the video, he just gets decked by security guards. And I've been thinking about this, saw this late last night when it came out. It finally popped in my head earlier when I came in here before the show. This is all for the pitch clock. I don't know what team was pitching at the moment, but their pitcher needed some more time to get ready for that next pitch. So they called in their guy in the outfield and said, hey, get on the field, propose to your girlfriend right now, and we're going to save some time for our pitcher.
That's
Miles
for you.
That's pretty thin. I mean, like, it's a Belichickian kind of move, if you will, where I think, like, you have a laundry list of things set up. Like, you have somebody want to propose, and then, like, maybe like a streaker. Then you got some other, stupid reason for somebody to get on the field. And
a balloon.
All set up. And then when you need to buy some time or you need something, you got somebody that's, on call, ready to go, and you order the code red.
There's a balloon
so
on
the
the
playoffs are going to be wild. The playoffs are going to be wild.
The venom dripping from my lips as I say these words. I think Miles on to something here.
More of this weird stuff is going to happen throughout the season when we're in close, tight games, and the pitcher's kind of tired. He's going to need a second to regroup.
What was the score of the game when this happened? I don't know.
Let's assume nothing happened here. What I'm saying is exactly what Miles said. People are going to see this and go, I can use this for that.
Yeah.
And tell me they won't. They bang trash can lids to get an in.
Come on, Houston. Come on with it.
Miles has figured this out.
Could you imagine you get into playoff baseball, though, and then all of a sudden you get...
Yeah, I can imagine.
Okay,
We've already seen the garbage cans.
And look, if you're a manager and your team's on the brink and you know your pitcher needs to regroup, you're going to do whatever you can, and you're going to have that plan in place, the plan Z, all the way at the bottom of your list. We need to pull this out in this game.
Big stuff's already happened in big games where the lights have gone out and there's been 15, 20-minute delays and stuff. So, I mean, like, anything's possible.
What's going to be funny is when all these marriage proposals end up being relatives of people who work for the club. That's what's going to be interesting.
That's going to be terrible, man.
Well, imagine that's how you get tickets. So that's how, you get to, go and watch the games. You're like the pseudo... groomed to be or whatever, and then that's where you're, sitting in the wings in the back of, by the outfield or wherever they have you positioned, and you get to watch the game, for getting paid, actually, not for free. I mean, you're on the payroll.
Miles coming up with great ideas.
Look, by the end of next week, I'll have seen another one. I'll bring it to y'all's attention, and I'll break it down for you, how it happened, why it happened.
Why it happened. And he'll be able to tell you exclusively right here on ESPN Northwest Florida why it happened, straight from the Miles Files. Top 10 things happening in opening day yesterday that I got from my Sports Illustrated newsletter. Dan Gartland is the author there, and we've had him on the air with us. I highly recommend. It's a free newsletter. Just go to Sports Illustrated. I'm not entirely sure how to sign up for it, but it is great content each and every morning. I also do the Athletic Pulse with Chris Branch. But O'Neal Cruz, man, this is a guy that, Brian, you were mentioning during the break that you're high on. O'Neal Cruz.
I went back and watched a lot of stuff on him toward the end of the year and into the first couple of months of this year, and I'm just so much more impressed. This is a guy who was kind of a late bloomer, grew a lot late. I mean, he's a huge guy, but he's got all the tools, and then, comes out and hits a bomb yesterday, and this guy has got the opportunity to be really special. Now, he's playing in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And
Pittsburgh's got some vets around them, though, this year.
But
how
we
long will
all
it last?
know
Yeah.
kind of
It's
the
Pittsburgh.
development of players. They reach a certain level in Pittsburgh and they need to go elsewhere to move on.
Ryan Reynolds is one of those big names.
And so this may be a guy to look for in the next couple of years as being one of the big splash guys to make a move. But watch him play. He's a real talent for the Pirates.
He every tool that you need in baseball, O'Neal Cruz has got it. I've started franchises on MLB The Show just because of O'Neal Cruz with the Pirates. That's crazy as it is.
Yeah. Can they try to make him a pitcher? Or should they?
I don't think they should.
I don't think so. I mean, look, you know how much I love the guys who can do both.
Closer?
I think that's a good thing. I don't think they need to with him. I would let him be the best at what he's doing right now and go get it.
The coolest thing about O'Neal Cruz is each year we have a Spiders mega draft. They've got them all over the country. I think they run 10-plus tournaments a year, but they have one out here at Frank Brown each and every year. Spiders tournament. He is now sponsored by Spiders, so I have a bunch of their batting gloves and stuff from playing in their tournaments. Cool. Ed Alf just does a phenomenal job with the Spiders tournaments, and O'Neal Cruz is a Spiders athlete, so him coming into the dugout after hitting that cruise missile yesterday, just slapping everyone high fives, and you seeing that Spiders logo is really, really cool, and also very impressive is it was off Hunter Green.
I was going to say, it doesn't hurt when a guy's throwing 103 mile an hour and you hit that ball and you right in the sweet spot. That ball is going to go far.
And like Brian said, he's big and he's also agile, and he's also
like
got
6'7"?
I think
he's huge.
He might be up there 6'7". I was going to say 6'5". But
how big's Judge? 6'5"?
Judge is every bit of 6'4", 6'5".
So
6'7" for O'Neal Cruz.
So he's probably just a little bit bigger than Judge, more than likely.
That is
they ain't
wild.
playing the same position.
6'7" playing shortstop.
I know.
Did you think growing up, or Ozzie Smith and all of those other guys, when I was growing up, you were a short guy.
Big at short, and
you're going to first base or the outfield.
Right.
Yeah.
It's very short-sighted, but they would not have put a guy. You wouldn't have put a guy that big behind the plate. You wouldn't have put a guy that big at short.
You would have put him on the. You would have put him on the
You'd
mound.
put him on the mound. You'd put him at first. You'd put him in the outfield.
Or if he was an AL, DH.
Well, tell him to go play basketball. So they used to do back in the day.
That could be it as well.
I don't think you would want to do that
he
with
was
him.
a late developer.
Tight end in the NFL.
I think he was 6'2" when he came into the system.
That's
he
wild.
was a late developer.
I mean, he's still young, though. That's the crazy part about
I'm
it.
hoping
He's
for
only
that.
24 years old. Number 9 is Hunter Green himself with 105 miles an hour. The broadcasters couldn't even believe it. He said, "Did that just say 105?" This guy,
He's got a cannon.
And he's not. So some people could make the case that he's not even the most impressive young Reds pitcher.
Right.
Behind Lodolo.
Well,
when you get that many early draft picks, it's kind of easy to stack up, a lot of good prospects.
True.
I mean, that's true, but just because you get the prospect doesn't mean that they're going to turn into what.
No, I hear
Hunter
you, but when you
Green
get that
is.
many chances year after year after year after year, you're going to hit on something sooner or later.
Yeah, and how long will he be a Red? Probably
not very long, because
Not
they're going to get some value for him, and then they're going to turn him into some other stuff that they can squander and waste.
Those are Sasaki numbers.
Sasaki
there.
numbers.
Hey, remember that guy's name for a couple years from now.
He was in on the Samurai Japan team. Yeah.
Sorry, by the way, Adam.
Legend coming. I'm telling you, I'm as impressed with him as I have been any young player in a long time. This guy's the real deal.
Speaking of another guy that's a real deal with a 5-for-5 day yesterday, we've already talked about him multiple times today. Adley Rutschman yesterday slid into Christian Arroyo, and it was you can't say he slid into him. He slid wrong. He slid terribly.
He's a catcher.
Then he is a catcher, exactly. He gets a fall back there, but then he kind of rolls around and his cleat goes into the face of Christian Arroyo. And so one of the things that Dan Gartland noticed there was the sportsmanship. Not only is he a great player, but he's a great sport as well. That's one of those guys that you want your youth baseball players looking after and emulating him.
I was just going to say, and Caveman, I don't know if you'll agree with this, but obviously you think Orioles, you think Cal Ripken, you think face of baseball.
Mm-hmm.
It's way early, This guy has the ability to kind of be the face of baseball to me. He plays the game the right way. He's talented. He's an all shucks kind of kid. I mean, things like this are exactly right. His sportsmanship is there. He's got the ability to be marketed as kind of everything that's good about baseball. And, I hate to put that on a guy so young. I think it's there, and he's an exciting guy to look for.
I think it just depends on, what you're trying to market with the guy, other than just obviously baseball stuff, like whether it's cars, whether it's Doritos, or just whatever out there. And then, he's got to be the right person, too. Like we just talked about Trout earlier. He's a guy that doesn't want to be there. So if this guy kind of has that attitude and that's what makes him up, then it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And I think I saw him at MLB Network before their game, and he was talking about after every single inning he catches, he talks to the pitcher on the way back if it was a good or bad inning. He said he's been doing that since he was playing Little League.
Yeah.
He said that's just something that stuck with him. He doesn't really get it from anywhere, but it shows what kind of player he is and teammate he is.
I think so.
Communication's good. Yeah.
Back to O'Neal Cruz real quick. Judge and Cruz are the same height at 6'7", but Judge is 60 pounds more at 200.
Yeah, steroids. Alleged.
Allegedly. Oh my goodness, man! Letting the
Miles scared of that lawsuit. There you go.
Yeah, right. You're gonna be hanging out with Pat McAfee and Brett Favre here soon. Another young guy that you're really intrigued by, Anthony Volpe, grew up as a Yankees fan, and his first roll call with the Yankees, kissing the logo of the New York Yankees. After seeing him, he's got speed. He's got a good glove. If the bat comes alive, which it definitely will. The biggest holdback for him or setback could be the pressure of trying to fill those shoes of Derek Jeter.
I'm scared to death for this kid, but God, he's fun to watch. I mean, that last spring training game, he made a couple plays out there. I mean, he looked like a seasoned professional that nothing was getting by him in the field.
Yeah.
So, but look, he's 21. He's in the New York spotlight, and he's following probably the most as amazing as this is, Jeter could be the most loved Yankee at least in the last 60, 70 years, and maybe ever. I mean, everybody loved Jeter. Following that story is so difficult. So I really hope this kid's got a good head on his shoulders, can handle it, because I'm worried about the pressure that's going to be put on him to be Jeter. But God, he's a fun talent.
Not even the pressure to be Jeter. There's pressure to win the World Series this year with this team.
And pressure just to be a Yankee in and of itself.
The expectations are going to be to win it all. So, with that on top of your shoulders, too, it's a lot.
Here's what I'll say, though. The one thing he has going for him, he has Judge to take some of that heat, because you've got an established big-name guy. And it's not to say you didn't have it, but the teams Jeter was on were built well, and they didn't have the big megastars early on. They started bringing them in later. But it was the core guys who came up, Bernie and Posada and Pettit and
Messina.
And Messina. Well, Messina came from the Orioles, but had been there for a while. And then they filled in great role players. Paul O'Neill got great years. Matsui was way underrated up there. So Brosius, Larry, God, I can go on about those
right. Especially with the Yankees,
I think Judge provides Volpe maybe a little bit of media cover, in that everyone will still go to Judge first.
Yeah.
And then over to Volpe.
Do you think that Judge is now more loved, or maybe more, not infamous, I don't know, with the contract that, or the news that he was signing with the Giants, and then all of that kind of falls to the wayside and he ends up coming back to the Yankees? Do you think that helps his case there with the Yankees, since those fans love him so much?
I think,
because he would have been the most hated man in New York in this to open the season had he went to the Giants.
Oh, definitely. I think what helps Judge to, and we were laughing when Miles throwing the steroids line out, he doesn't have any steroid stink yet.
Yeah.
Maybe he will get some. I don't know. I don't think so. But I think him finally getting to 62 and someone not being under the steroid cloud, getting to 62 got him a lot of goodwill.
With the help of some baseballs.
Yeah. But
hey, this man
I
will
can't
excuse
follow Miles.
I know.
mean, he's got, but I do think that helped Judge a lot. But yes, if he had left, I've been all bets were.
I can't say that he's right. We had Yankee John, who's a big Yankees fan, and so he's going to be biased that way. But he gave us some stats.
Try to debunk my theory.
He did debunk your theory, essentially. Now you could also go to any other website and find facts that are going to strengthen your argument.
And the Giants thing with Judge, it's a ploy to get more money. It's like what these college football coaches do. There's a rumor out there that they're going to leave and they're going to go to some other school, and all of a sudden, here's a new contract with a bunch more money. Oh, okay, I'll stay.
Who's more jaded, Miles or Caveman Ray?
Well, Caveman and I are of a similar generation. We call that experience.
I think I'm more cynical is what it is.
Miles just jaded.
Yeah, right. How many home runs will Judge hit, though, starting the season off?
Oh, he got paid.
Too. It's basic math.
It's basic math. That's easy. That's easy.
He'll finish with 51 this year, probably.
51, so
51.
not 62. What about for you, Miles?
Yeah, I think he goes for about 50, 49, but I think he has to get over 40. Has to get over 40.
Oh, he has to, yeah.
I think so. I'm in that range. I'd be high 40s, 48, 49, I think's about right.
All right,
and,
I like that.
Everybody will view that as a disappointment. That's a hell of a year.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, coming off of 62
he set the bar.
is the only thing. Yeah, he definitely did.
Hey.
There's no doubt.
How about Adam Wainwright singing the national anthem? What's your thoughts on that? Did he do a good job?
Got plenty of time after going on the IR.
It took him plenty of time to sing that thing, but it is really cool that the ace comes in. And
I'm sure he had money on the over.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I didn't see. I read the story about it, so I didn't see it, so I can't critique his.
Well, it wasn't Carl Lewis, I'm sure, or Roseanne Barr.
Roseanne.
Yeah, I'm sure it was probably better than those two.
Hey, now, seeing both of those, yes, it was better than.
But I will say, what made the Carl Lewis one so funny was watching it on ESPN, and Charlie Steiner could not hold it together and lost it on the air. It's one of the funniest clips.
He was trying so hard, and here's the thing. I'm from the same town in New Jersey as Carl Lewis. I looked up to that guy when I was a kid. Yeah. I was on a float with that guy in a parade once.
Oh.
Okay? That's horrifying to watch, and it's embarrassing. And, when I see it, I still feel bad for the guy.
You still feel bad for him.
You know what? He actually played it off fairly well. I mean, he kind of acknowledged
towards the end.
Good for him.
We're bringing it home.
Well, we've seen Ryan Fitzpatrick with the no-look throw, possibly one of the greatest in all of football. We've seen Patrick Mahomes do it countless times, and now Hunter Renfrow bringing it to baseball with his unbelievable no-look catch. Did you get an opportunity to see that?
That one I did not yet. I've heard about it all day, but I've been busy here, so I have not gotten a chance to see.
Let me see. It's something like
y'all went
this.
To school together.
He's running this way and then just throws his glove out this way. You went to school with Hunter Renfrow?
No, I've been out of school a long time.
Well, Hunter
look, my diploma didn't come till many years after I left, but that didn't when I was there.
Man, that is that was a wild catch, though. And that's why I'm saying to the listeners right now, go sign up for this Sports Illustrated newsletter. It's free, and they send you top plays all the time, the top 5 things that happened from last night, all of that, and it takes you straight to the links of Twitter and whatnot, so you can actually just go see the video, see what you think, and then move right the heck on. Storylines to watch for today in baseball. The Braves are off. They will be playing tomorrow. We won't have the coverage for that game due to the Final Four. 6 of 10 starting pitchers tonight appeared in the World Baseball Classic. Christian Javier is going to make his first start since throwing the 6 no-hit innings in the World Series. And the Astros, who lost to the White Sox last night, are looking to avoid their first 0-2 start since 2007. Brian, I don't think we ever got what is your final, what's your World Series matchup?
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah, I'm trying to push it to the future.
I've got this weird feeling about Seattle, and some of it's tied into I think they're going to make a deal. Now,
look good
I may
last
be
night.
Jumping the gun on them a little bit. They may be a little young. I don't know. I got this weird feeling about them. But God, they got to get through the Astros, and we saw what happened last year. In the National League, oh, good Lord.
Going with the Nationals?
I don't know. Give me the Braves, man. I still like the Braves.
All right, man.
They got a good roster.
So Braves Mariners in the World Series.
Why not?
All right, I like that. Some matchups to watch tonight. Alex Bregman going up against Lance Lynn. Freddie Freeman versus Merrill Kelly. Max Muncy again versus Merrill Kelly. Martin Maldonado is going to be taking on Lance Lynn. And C.J. Cron, who had a huge night last night, is going to be taking on Nick Martinez. That's the Rockies versus the Padres. You are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs, and you're listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. We're going to take a quick time out, and when we get back, Bill with PCB Hobby will join us on the set. Y'all stick with us. It's ESPN Northwest Florida.
Whether
Weather in Northwest Florida can change on a dime.
Gale force winds bombarded with heavy rain.
That's why 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida has the most up-to-date forecast on the Gulf Coast. Hi, this is staff meteorologist Tim Root. With over 40 years of experience, I know just how fast we can go from sun and fun to a serious situation. For the most accurate and detailed weather when it matters, rely on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Sunshine, a few scattered clouds this afternoon. Temperatures in the mid to upper 70s. Water temperature in the Gulf is 69. South wind up to 25. A few showers, maybe a thunderstorm overnight. Mostly cloudy, breezy, around 65 to 70. More showers and thunderstorms Saturday. Highs near 80 degrees. This weather forecast has been brought to you by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. For ESPN Northwest Florida, I'm meteorologist Tim Root.
Take your next adventure in an award-winning Kia from Bill Bird Kia. The SUV family has movement that inspires, and we invite you to test drive the new 2023 Kia Soul, Seltos, Sportage, Sorento, or Telluride. You can command the road in a sedan from Bill Bird Kia. Drive away today in a new 2023 Rio, Forte, K5, or Stinger, and discover the all-new Kia at Bill Bird Kia. 2435 East 15th Street, Panama City, or anytime at BillBirdKia.com. Peace of mind you can trust at your local community dealer, Bill Bird Kia.
Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle, this is Tim.
Do y'all sell bait?
Yes, we seasonally stock live shrimp, live bull minnows, live sand fleas, live fiddler crabs, earthworms, night crawlers, crickets. We also stock frozen shrimp, sand fleas, mullets, squid, pre-rigged ballyhoo, bonita, stingray, cigar minnows, Boston mackerel, Spanish mackerel, and a few other miscellaneous baits. It's worth the drive to buy premium locally sourced bait from Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle, located directly off Highway 98 on the west end of Panama City Beach.
If he doesn't start showing some motivation and stop wearing flip-flops to work, he might get fired.
I only have another week and a half here, and I have completely checked out.
Miles Nasty Lashley is part of the Afternoon Underdogs.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
We are back. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. You're tuned in to ESPN Northwest Florida 104.3 in Panama City, 102.1 in Marianna, and 101.9 in Port St. Joe. Set your alarm clock to wake up to the Coach James Hale Show weekday morning 7 to 9 for in-depth local and college sports with a dash of controversy. Expert takes from the insiders. The Alabama update at 8 a.m., the Auburn update at 8:15 in the morning. We're out here at PCB Hobby right now, right on Back Beach. We've got Bill Shriver with us. Bill, what's going on, man?
Hey guys, what's happening?
Get a little bit closer.
How's that?
That is good. Great. That is good. So what do you do here, Bill?
I guess the question is really, what don't I do?
What don't you do here, Bill?
My official title is I'm co-owner of the shop with Todd. This is my first time on the show with you guys, though. But
right.
We've talked plenty of other times. I'm in charge of the retail operations, really. So I handle the day-to-day operations of the retail store. And just make sure that all the pieces, everything flows like it's supposed to.
All right. So Todd, he does it all as well, but all of you guys do it all. What is your favorite thing? What is the thing that you still kind of feel like a kid inside whenever you're dealing with it?
I think it's probably still the sports cards.
Sports cards? What is there a card that sticks out to you above all other cards?
So I have, there's a lot of cards that are out today, and Todd has talked with you guys about the new products and how the new products look, and you guys have all seen them, right? You see them in the case, they're flashy, they're shiny. Yeah, they got, autographs and stuff, but for me, it's about old school. And I believe, I like my collection, my personal collection stuff is all vintage. So, I'm you can't ever go wrong with a Jackie Robinson rookie card. You can't ever go wrong with a Mickey Mantle, rookie card. You can't ever go. Those guys are not going anywhere. Mm-hmm. They're not going to beat their girlfriend tomorrow. They're not going to be in a DUI. They're not going to, PTSD or something. And,
right.
And below kind of the values of their stuff, they're in the books, right? So they are what they are. So that's kind of where I hang.
Awesome. What's it been like kind of going through the eras? Have you been involved with sports cars the entire time?
Yeah, for a long time, for 25, 30 years.
Let's go with the low. That's always the hardest one. What was like a low point where you're
the
90s?
Yeah,
just because of mass production?
You had some of the things. I think the juice ball kind of, that era kind of kept things going a little bit, because you had McGuire, Sosa, and Bonds, kind of swinging it out, and people still wanted those cards. And at that time, those cards were highly desirable still, and they were very expensive, right? But now we see after, baseball's kind of put its stamp on things and the asterisks are in the books, and now those card values have significantly dropped, unfortunately. So,
what about the MLB patch? They made the MLB debut patch. Tell me what that's going to do for the sports card industry.
Yeah, super excited about that, David. So, one of the things that we talked about, you guys, Fanatics took over, a lot of the licensing and stuff in 2025 is when it's really going to start kicking in. But Fanatics has bought Topps, and so everybody's kind of been wondering in the industry, well, what does that mean for the industry? What does it mean for collectors? And I think one of the biggest things is this is the first product innovation that they've rolled out as part of that process or part of that takeover. The debut patch is super cool. It's a great idea. All the rookies from now on, and starting yesterday on opening day, anybody who is an official rookie on the roster, and then during the season, anybody who comes up from the minor leagues to the leagues will get a debut rookie patch on their shoulder. They'll keep that patch on their jersey until they've actually had on-field action.
So like yesterday for Jordan Walker, who was on the field, so he's not going to wear the debut patch anymore.
They were supposed to take it off,
right?
And then it gets memorialized at that point. Then
I like that. I really like that. Just because you have that patch on, if you don't touch the field, then we're going to keep that on your jersey.
Yeah. So let's say we bring a pitcher up and it goes in the bullpen and hangs in the bullpen for like 6 weeks. He's going to wear that debut patch the whole time.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the cool part of it. So until he actually steps on the field and has that first pitch, he's still, hasn't done his official debut. The cool thing about it is now they're going to pull that. So Fanatics at the end of the game, MLB Players Association and MLB, they're going to pull that patch off their sleeve. They're going to take it back. They haven't said exactly what products or what product in the future it's going to be part of.
Right.
But it is going to be, they did say that what they're going to do is make one-of-one rookie cards for those players. So that will be your, legit, official one-of-one,
Yeah.
So regardless of autographs and all that stuff, there's only one patch.
Yeah. So they're only going to use, so instead of cutting that patch up into maybe 5 pieces.
My understanding is they're going to use the whole patch.
Wow.
And it's a one-of-one card.
That is cool. Really cool. That is really cool. Go ahead.
So I think that's a huge innovation for, that's a cool way of kind of putting the two together, MLB and Fanatics and Topps and us as collectors too.
Who is your team in baseball?
I lived in Atlanta before we moved to the beach. I lived in Atlanta, Georgia for 20 years.
Okay, so Braves.
So yeah, it's Bravos all the way.
Who's some of the young guys? I mean, and we've kind of went through the entire secondary staff, if you will. I'm blanking on the name, but the minor leagues, and traded a lot of guys off and brought in a strong. But who's some of the younger guys that you're looking forward to, especially for the angle of the card industry?
I think it's still some of the. It's. I think Strider still, is one of those guys that Michael Harris, one of those guys. I think those guys are still. They kind of came on strong last year, but it was at the end of the season, midway through season, and so I think they've both had a pretty good spring training, and I think their cards are going to continue as they go through because they're both going to play well, I think, and so their cards are going to continue to go. People don't like to hear it, but Freddie Freeman, and I know he's not a Bravo, he's not a Bravo anymore, but he wore that uniform for a while, and so he's going to kind of come up, but even more, but. I think probably those two would be the big two to watch for.
With that situation that you just mentioned, Freddie Freeman, sorry about that, buddy. Freddie Freeman and Dansby Swanson both playing with new teams now. Which one did you have a stronger feeling towards when they left? Like for me, I wasn't happy when Freddie Freeman left because I told myself he can go anywhere, but if he's with the Yankees, if he goes to the Yankees or the Dodgers, I'm done. And I'm not totally done because he's a great guy. He's a great ball player, but just his off-the-field persona is
he's bigger
top
than
notch.
life. Yeah, he's big in the community. He's huge when it comes to like his whole family.
Right.
So, but I think the person that I probably missed the most is Dansby.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. I think his play is going to be sorely missed. Third base is third base. I mean, I know it's an important position, but I think Dansby's going to be really sorely missed. So
I see. I'm not going to say that he's not going to be sorely missed because I mean what he did in the World Series run, and a lot of people forget not really, just how good he was at shortstop, playing that position, but then also it always seemed like, and I would always give him flack for not being clutch, but anytime in a clutch moment, he was always clutch. So yeah, you're right, and I think Chicago got themselves a good one to be there in that. They're not vying for the World Series this year, but who knows what happens next year after they see the production that Dansby Swanson's bringing to that position.
Yeah, I think it's strong to, you got to, obviously you have to have a tight shortstop to be able to go anywhere. Right. So, but he's a good person to build a team with, so for sure.
Absolutely. What are some other guys around the league that you're, younger guys that you're waiting to explode, or waiting for them to explode?
I'm not really too sure. I mean, the guys that I'm really looking for is to see, like, there's some players that I'm kind of more concerned right now about, some of the senior players and stuff and what's going to happen with them. A big one for me personally, I talk about I don't collect a lot of stuff, newer stuff, but one of the guys that I love, new guys, is Shohei Ohtani.
Oh, yeah.
And so he's so versatile, and he's pitching, he's hitting. I have a lot of stuff of his rookie cards and stuff that are personal. And so I'm really kind of hoping that he comes and continues to have the kind of banner year that he's had year after year. That's more for me is like the staple guys that we've seen the last couple of years to be able to stick around, and Acuna and, those guys just to stay healthy and to be able to have a good, strong production so that their card values that we have out there right now maintain and hold.
Do you think that he will be an Angel after this year?
I don't know. I was really surprised that, to be honest with you, I'm surprised Atlanta didn't take a run at him, because that was one of the teams that was on the list and stuff, and he would have been a game changer, I think, for Atlanta. But I don't think he stays in Anaheim after
How about this? If he changes and says goes to a big name team like the Yankees, does just the switching of teams elevate the value of the card because
he's
so. Wearing pinstripes?
Anybody who moves to the Yankees, I think. A lot of people, they're a polarizing team. You either love them or you hate them, right? But what's the saying? Everybody loves pinstripes, but it does, I think, elevate the status of the player, I think, in their overall career. To be a Yankee, everybody knows is like, it's a big deal to get to New York. So, especially in a power position like he is, right? So, and to be able to stay on that team where he can still be like designated hitter, and step in and still pitch or something. So.
Who would you say at this point in time? Who would be your National League representative and your American League representative? Who's taking the
world? Put me on the spot.
Yeah, let's go to the World Series, man.
That's a zinger right there. Considering Judge stepped out yesterday and cranked the ball out of the park, I think he's still a strong running for a two-time candidate. On the other side of the fence, man, I don't know. That's a tough one. I think Goldschmidt will have a good year, but I don't think we're going to see a two-time repeater from him.
Yeah.
And I think it's a wide open. I really hate to even try to put something on who it even might be at this point, because I think it's such a wide open field.
Right. What's the fluctuation like in season? We talk about it a lot on Mondays with Todd and with Brian, but what is the fluctuation like from your perspective week to week with these young studs or just baseball cards in general?
Yeah, it's seasonal for sure. So when you're talking about, once spring training starts kicking up, everybody starts dusting their baseball cards back off, it seems like, and they're really diving into looking into baseball. From the shop perspective, we've been super strong still in football, even though it's been weeks since the Super Bowl. Football is still king right now.
Yeah.
And so baseball will start picking up, and I think it's we get a nice bounce from opening day, but everybody quickly kind of cools off on baseball like around late May, early June, even coming into the All-Star, right?
Yeah.
And so I think it's kind of like fluctuates. So as long as you, again, no DUIs, don't beat up your girlfriend or your wife. Right, stay out of jail.
Right,
don't point guns at kids. Those kind of things. As long as you can stay out of that mantra, and you just hit the ball. Just do your thing, throw a pitch, hit. Right. So I think that their values will hold. But those are the things. It's more usually the social events than it is the game events or performance. Has to really suck.
How about USFL, XFL, are they putting out product for that kind of stuff?
So their Tops, they just had at the beginning of this month, every year Tops does a conference, and so they did the 2023 conference. I think it was in Arizona, and they talk about some of the new products. And yes, USFL and XFL are one of those. They don't have a date yet for a product or a specific name of a product, but they did say they are going to start putting that out together. I think it kind of goes with the whole thing of there's a lot of people behind the XFL right now, this reboot. And, there's a lot of, they're doing it better than last time. I won't say they're doing it great, but they're doing it better than last time.
Right.
And, let's see what happens. Let's see if people can get behind it and support the teams. The products will come if they do.
Speaking of products, what is your favorite product on the wall right now?
Yeah, so that's a great one. So I know we're on the radio and people can't see what I got sitting in front of me, but
yeah.
I'll kind of talk through some of the stuff. But
I didn't even see all of this.
I pulled a couple boxes of new stuff that came into the shop. And by far, I got 2 of them this week, 2022. And that's going to sound weird because I know it's
2023.
It's 2023.
Yeah.
Todd's probably explained this, that, Panini is a little behind on the production schedule. But the 2022 Prism NFL football just came out fairly recently, about a week ago, and this is probably by far the best product that we have on the shelf. It is flying off the shelf.
Is that 2 Tennessee Titans on the front
and
of it?
It's got 2 Titans on the front of the box, but it's got 144 cards in this box, and they are bangers.
Let's go.
Yeah, this is a highly sought after box. The value, the price of this box from the day it dropped has almost doubled in price on the marketplace.
Wow.
And it continues to go up, and so it's been a really interesting product for us to try to service, and but people love it, and we've had tremendous hits that have come out of it. A lot of good rookies and stuff that are in this. You got Purdy's in here, Pickett's in here, Jameson Williams in here, Garrett Wilson, Drake London. So you got a lot of guys that good players that are kind of have a good season this year that are in this box too. So,
all right, and this is a great opportunity tomorrow because you guys are going to be open for how long are you open till today?
Yeah, we're open till 6 o'clock on Friday. So we're open every day, Monday through Friday, 10 to 6. Tomorrow is going to be kind of a carry-on weekend for our anniversary.
Right.
So if you come in between now and tomorrow at 6 o'clock and just say, hey, I heard you guys on ESPN Radio, you get 10% off of any of the sealed product that we have in the store. And yes, guys, that includes the Pokemon and the Magic and everything else.
Yes, we got it.
So you guys asked for it, you got it. So that happened.
Yeah, awesome. And you got some other, the Obsidian. I hear Brian and Todd every Monday talking about Obsidian.
This is fire. So as part of our anniversary, I told the guys that we'd probably break a box. I'd love to break this one, but it's only 7 cards in this whole box.
Wow.
So Obsidian is ridiculous. Product goes for about $600 for 7 cards. But the deal with Obsidian, you're guaranteed you're going to have 4 autographs and memorabilia cards in here. So it's a lot of fire in the box, and so this is definitely top shelf stuff.
How long did it take you to catch on to the lingo of fire? Like, how long have you been using that word? I love it.
It was Big Hits is where we kind of started it back in the early 2000s. Like, man, that was a big hit.
Yeah.
And so that actually is where the name came from for the shop that was in Spanish Fort. So
Kaboom.
I'll throw a shout out to Nathan Caraway and Daphne and Spanish Fort if those guys are listening or not. But that's where that kind of came from, was Big Hits. But it has evolved, and as the kids, had teenagers and stuff. So as the kids have gone through, you pick up the kids' lingo.
Yeah, no doubt. I love it, man. I love it. It's lit.
It's fire.
What else? Products do you got?
We got some basketball that came in too. So this is really a great product. Again, very eclectic type stuff. This is top shelf stuff, but this is 22-23. So this is our first look at a 22-23 product from basketball, and it's Panini Court Kings. And again, you don't get a lot, but it's a lot in the box. So even though the box is small and there's not a lot in here, I think there's only like 10 cards total. Again, it's another one of those fire products. So it's high-end stuff. Bang for the buck. We have a 2022 football product that came in. A lot of football has continued to come in. I brought a schedule. I was going to share with you guys a little bit of stuff. So there's quite a few things that are coming out. We have probably 15, 20 products that are going to drop between now and May. So, there's a lot of stuff coming, and it's not all baseball. It's a lot of basketball. A lot of football is going to continue to drop. We'll see those. This is called Panini Contenders. It's a 2022. Again, it's a 23 product, but it just came out with 2022 marker on it. It's got 18 packs in it. And it's a solid box, and so you're getting 6 cards per pack, 18 packs. See, when you lift it up, it feels like there's some substance or weight.
Yeah.
So people that ask me, hey, I want to rip a bunch of cards, this is a good pack to do that with, so that kind of thing. And then same thing with basketball. We just got the Elite. It's the 23 basketball. It's the Elite basketball, too. And again, nice box. These are all hobby products, so you can't go down to Walmart or Target and get these things. You got to come to a hobby shop like ours and pick them up.
Is John Moran on the cover of every basketball product?
John Moran continues to be the face of the NBA, which is why we are super glad that his games are over, his suspensions, and he's back on the court playing again.
Yeah, I was just going to say, will that change? Because obviously this stuff has probably been printed and done before what just happened to him recently.
Correct. Yeah, these all came out well before that. But I think that they'll probably be looking around the league for some diversity as far as who they're going to put on the boxes going forward. So yeah,
I like it, man.
Victor Wembanyama.
Do you think Victor Wembanyama is going to pan out? Do you follow basketball very much?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think he's too thin. I think it's like a Chet Holmgren thing all over again.
Feel like what's his face? Odin. He was a little bit thicker, but
yeah.
He just lacks some size. I mean, for his position, he's going to get. I don't know. I think he's going to get beat around, but there's been
but
far
the
smaller
hope
guys.
is that he explodes, though, right?
Yeah.
For the
because if he does, then his cars and stuff take off, and it'll be fantastic, So because the hunt will be on, the chase will be on, and that's the interesting part of this whole thing too is that these guys who fire off, we maintain. What we do is this: we break a lot of product in house and stuff too. And where we get collections that come in. And as we're sorting through stuff, we'll take all of our rookies, it doesn't matter who they are, whether they're active players or whether they're guys who are still kind of minor leagues or kind of riding the pines kind of thing. We put them in what we call a rookie mine field, a rookie mine box. And we set them back in there. And they kind of they're like a fine wine. They just kind of sit back there and age.
It's like you're mining Bitcoin or something.
Yeah. And then we'll go through and every year we'll go through a seasons, roll through them. Periodically we'll mine the box and go through and kind of look for, hey, who's popped off that we've got, So there's a couple guys in Bowman First that have popped up that we found that were some like $70 cards and, some just there. So there's always good stuff like that comes out of that.
Yeah.
So because everybody wants to go back then and try to find the product to get it and stuff. So we have a tendency, especially in football, we keep a lot of new stuff, but we also have to keep older stuff. Like probably the oldest box we have, there's a Donruss 2017 football on the shelf over there box. It's a mega box of all things, retail mega box. But it's got the Patrick Mahomes rookie cards in it. Deshaun Watson, Calvin Kamara. It's got the Cook's rookies in there. I mean, that class had probably 100 guys that are NFL players that maybe not all of them stars, but good, from decent NFL all the way up to superstars.
With Patrick Mahomes not necessarily playing in his rookie year, sitting behind Alex Smith, did that help or hurt his value? Because he probably wasn't a very popular rookie at first out of the box until people started hearing, Andy Reid saying this is going to be the next guy. Did that help kind of...
I think those things always help. Yeah, it helps. I think it helps us from a collector's perspective, the sport perspective, because there's an opportunity that those guys' cards are out there, and they're going to be a little bit easier to achieve, and you can get them a little easier because there was no pressure on them to get.
Nobody was hoarding them right off the bat.
Yeah, nobody was saying, "Hey, I'm going to hold all this stuff." Probably a good example, Purdy, right? Mm-hmm. Purdy wasn't even in any products. He didn't even make the cut on the products. And then at the end of the year last year, I think Panini put out like 2 different, there was a certified football and something else that came out. And man, those boxes exploded as soon as he was put on the roster.
I love it, man.
So that's the kind of thing that, that those guys can be game changers for our hobby by doing that type of thing too.
So y'all come out here tomorrow. PCB Hobby's still going to be celebrating their first year anniversary out here off Back Beach next to Florida Linens. One of my favorite products that I've seen to this point is the mystery pack for baseball. I love that.
Very cool.
I love that. Y'all come check it out, though, man. This is just a great spot to be, great spot to hang out at, too, and just look through the singles box. That's Bill Shriver, PCB Hobby. We're going to take a quick time out. We'll be right back with your local high school sports spot.
ESPN Northwest Florida presents the Final Four. Coverage starts tomorrow at 3:30 with Florida Atlantic versus San Diego State.
The San Diego State Aztecs for the first time.
Then UConn and Miami.
Miami is going to the Final Four.
Plus, winners face off Monday night in the men's championship game. Listen live in ultra high fidelity right here. It's ESPN Northwest Florida.
At Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle, you can find all the necessary items for an unforgettable fishing experience. From pin rods and reels to the best hand-tied rigs in Florida, we have it all. With the help of our friendly and knowledgeable staff, you can be sure that you have the right gear to make that big catch. Come experience a great local bait and tackle shop located directly off 98 on the west end of Panama City Beach, located just 5 miles west of Pier Park.
By now, you've heard us talking about Tiger TV Pro. Hi, David Hayes from the Afternoon Underdogs, here to remind you about this incredible streaming service with over 6,000 premium channels. And the cost, you ask? $15 a month. Yes, only $15 a month. Every sports channel is available, including the ACC and SEC network, the NFL, NBA, MLB, HBO, Showtime, and thousands more. For more info, go to our website at espnpc.com. Scroll down and click the Tiger logo.
Spring is upon us here on the coast. There's pollen in the air and the daily temperatures are on the rise. It's when we all start thinking about those longer, warmer days. This is Todd Woodall of Woodall's Total Comfort Systems, and we want to make sure you and your air conditioning system are ready for the warmer temperatures to come. We offer spring cleanings to ensure your air conditioner is working at peak performance before the heat of the summer hits. Give us a call at 850-482-8802 to schedule your spring cleaning today. That's 850-482-8802.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. High School Sports Spotlight.
And we're back. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs on ESPN Northwest Florida. You gotta let the rejoiner play, bro. I take you off. I just do it for a little bit, and then you just lose everything.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Rookies over here.
Gosh, we gotta put you on Monday Night Football or something. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida, 104.3 in Panama City, 102.1 in Marianna, and 101.9 in Port St. Joe. I'm David Hayes along with Miles, Lashley, Caveman, Rick, and Brian Haddad. We're out here at PCB Hobby for the first year anniversary. We've been here since 4 o'clock. They're going to be having the festivities roll on until tomorrow. There's going to be some more cake up here. But let's get into our local high school sports spotlight, brought to you by Barbaritos, food, community, and people. Visit Barbaritos on 23rd Street and tell them the Underdogs sent you. Caveman Rick, why don't you take off with that high school softball?
All right, right on. We got Marianna and Arnold. Man, they tie 3-3. That's kind of weird that they
no ties allowed.
That's what I'm screaming. I didn't know that.
No, I don't think that's right. I think Arnold won that game 3-2.
All right, well, way to go, Arnold, then. Okay, and then you got Freeport in a close one, beating Walton 4-3. Laurel Hill losing one, tough one against Ponce de Leon 6-1. Got Rickards taking down Alpha 9-5. Port St. Joe beating Wakulla 5-4. Got a kind of a close one. Bozeman beating Bay 9-6. Vernon shellacking Malone 16-3. Mosley losing a bad one to Franklin 10-2, and we got Graceville beat North Methodist 6-3.
All right, high school baseball, Arnold over Bozeman 4-3. Wewall takes down Bethlehem 19-11. A total of 30 runs scored in that ball game. Rutherford takes down Gadsden 12-7. Paxton all over Laurel Hill here 16-1. Malone, same situation, 13-1 over Vernon. Marianna run rules Freeport 11-1. Wakulla 10 runs over Bluntstown 16-6, and Milan takes down Port St. Joe 6-1. We got Feinbaum coming up here next. Brian, WrestleMania. What's your final thoughts, your thought process ahead of WrestleMania that's going to be taking place this weekend?
Get your popcorn ready.
Get your popcorn
It's
ready.
going to be a loaded card. I mean, absolutely loaded card. Where Kyle and I talked about it Monday. We could have gone on for hours, but they split it into 2 nights. You can catch it on Peacock, and it's going to be a blast. But obviously, everyone's looking to the Roman Reigns Cody Rhodes main event on night 2. But there's going to be a lot of great matches on night 1. We talked about some of the women's matches, but we didn't mention. You've got, Finn Balor and Edge are going to go into Hell in a Cell, and supposedly Finn Balor's bringing the demon character back out, which used to be the theme music. You guys, or no, you've done other theme music, but that's going to be a great match because they've got the big cage out and everything like that. So it's going to be fun. But the thing to really look for. there's a lot of rumors starting to fly around about big returns coming. There's some talk that maybe Riddle may come back, that Randy Orton may come back, who's been out for a year. There may be a lot of fun surprises out there on the thing. So bottom line is they're on a roll right now. Their storytelling and just the drama involved, if you will. It's a male soap opera.
Yeah.
They're hitting on all cylinders right now, and so it will be an absolutely entertaining weekend no matter what. That's for sure.
I cannot wait for it, and Monday we'll tune back in to hear Brian, and maybe Kyle will call in. And
we're going to talk about it Monday.
Get the update of what I'm going to try to tune in. I don't know exactly where I'll be, but
and it'll be a perfect lead-in because the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania is always one of the biggest shows of the year too. So it's going to be a good weekend for fake fighting.
I better tune in. I mean, I watched Royal Rumble. I watched what was the next thing? The Elimination Chamber in Montreal, I believe it was.
That's right.
So, and I've watched a couple of other pieces as well. So I've kind of followed this storyline.
And Sammy,
if nothing else, I'll get a great update.
The big discussion point is going to be, will the Bloodline survive this weekend? Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn are taking on the Usos. Roman Reigns out there. It's going to be interesting. It's one of the few times I really don't feel like I know what's going to happen in a lot of these things, which is going to be interesting.
It's definitely going to be interesting. Astros, Braves, Dodgers, or the field?
All three of them, or just one at a time, or the field?
All three of them combined, or the field, or anyone else?
Oh, I would take Astros, Braves, Dodgers.
What about for you, Miles? Astros, Braves, Dodgers, or the field?
The field.
Well, I don't know. Put the Mariners in there.
I got the field.
I'm rolling with the Astros.
It's a
Braves,
smarter
Dodgers.
play on the field. No doubt.
I like that, but also I've got Astros Braves, I believe, in the World Series. So kill two birds with one stone, as Todd said the other day. That'll work out perfectly.
I think it's going to be Yankees and somebody else, so that's why I'm
very well could be.
Women's and men's Final Four tonight. Iowa, South Carolina, LSU, Virginia Tech. That should be interesting as well. We'll get to the Final Four of the men's tomorrow. Coverage will start at 3:30. In the world of hockey, the Boston Bruins, man, what a season they're having. Already clinching the President's Trophy with how many more games to go? I think there's 5, 6, maybe less than that.
It depends on where you're at.
Yeah.
Some games, teams got
7 games left. They've got 7 games left, and they've already clinched that. Just absolutely amazing. Fastest ever to reach 50 wins, and they're just 4 wins away from the NHL record of 62 and 12 points from the regular season record. Caveman Rick, do they break these records this year? 7 games, and they've got to win 4 of them.
I don't think so. I think it's going to get tough towards the end. You're going to be going up against history. They got the team that can probably do it, but also your goal isn't to set these records at the end of the regular season. Your goal is to win the Stanley Cup. And if it means you have to take a guy out of the game, or have some guys play a few less shifts on a few less games towards the end and end up costing you. And then you got teams like my team, the Philadelphia Flyers. Just don't want to throw them out there, but we've been playing like gods the last 3 or 4 games we played. Where the hell has this been at all season? Now that they know that they can't do anything, we know that we haven't been able to do anything. You're playing free because what do you have to play for? There's no pressure.
No pressure, just like Anthony Volpe, huh? No pressure. Brian, what should people come out here and look for tomorrow afternoon in the second half of the first year anniversary for PCB Hobby?
We're actually changing out all the boxes like we do every month. So all the $3 to $10 boxes, all the dollar boxes, they're lined up back here. They all have a bunch of new stuff. So if you've been coming in all month looking through those boxes, it's going to be all new stuff out there tomorrow. And we're running our 2-for-1 special on the dollar box. Hall of Famers, rookies, parallels, numbered card. There's all kind of fun stuff in there. And a lot of the stuff's been in there for a week or so. Guys may be skyrocketing. They're, like Volpe has doubled in price in the last week. Jordan Walker, guys like that. So
it looks like he's about to retire, playing like he's 21.
Exactly.
He's not even 21, is he?
You can get some great deals. And there's some older stuff in there, too. A lot of Barry Sanders stuff, Jerry Rice stuff in the football, Cal Ripken, Griffey stuff in the baseball. You can come in and spend a day looking through those boxes and really enjoying it. Obviously, the sealed products, we've got some great stuff out there. Definitely mention that you heard it right here on ESPN Radio, and you can get 10% off the sealed products on that. The mystery packs you were talking about, we're going to bust one right after the show here. We're going to let you get in on this and see how this goes. And even some high-end products. And even better, we've got supplies that you can protect. All of the great cards that you get right here in front of us comics, TCGs, coins, sports cards. You can lose yourself in an afternoon. Just got to come see us.
Even got the memorabilia up on the wall. Got Kobe Bryant, Tom Brady, Michael Jordan. Can't get any bigger than that, honestly.
Goats.
And then what about the little box over there with the autographed baseball? I believe I saw one of those being Ernie Banks, but how does that situation work?
Yeah, well, the Ernie Banks just one that we acquired,
Right.
so it's for sale in here. We got a Pee Wee Reese ball down there. We actually don't have a ton of autographed merchandise.
Right, but what
just
is that?
for real estate. Oh, well, the
Going by the
baseball was
Steelers
one
helmet.
that's actually out. It just
Okay.
came in that box. But we do have a couple of products we were talking about before the show. Football, there's TriStar autographed jerseys that are out there where you buy the box and you get a guaranteed autographed jersey in it. And then for a basketball product, a product called Stitches and Slabs, which is an autographed jersey and a graded slabbed card, if you will, that's been put in there. So
do they match the card and the jersey, or is it going to be different?
not
you know?
always. Not
Okay,
always.
So
It
you
can't
might
be.
get a jersey from one guy and a card from somebody
That is
else.
correct.
Okay.
That is correct, but it's, it could be a case of where maybe you don't hit the guy that you want on the jersey and then you hit a banger card or vice versa. So it's a lot of fun that way. And I mean, it's a good thing we have candy tomorrow, because it's like being in a candy store for your kids. So
It's like a scratch off, but if you you don't lose, you still have something
There is a
in
product
after you
in your
throw your
hand. That is
money out. You
correct.
still have
That is
something that
correct.
may retain value later on. Or
So you're
something.
saying it's better than crypto and NFTs?
Yeah.
Old school with
Sorry,
us.
Matt Damon.
Wholeheartedly agree.
Tom Brady.
but again, you don't have to go the pack route. I mean, there are a lot of singles. If you have a favorite player, if you have a favorite team that you want to collect. And look, if you don't see it in the showcase, ask. We've got tons of stuff in the back that we're working on that we'd love to bring out for you.
Absolutely. The comic section is absolutely awesome. The TCGs just bring attention. They grab your eyes as soon as you walk in. And the coins, man, if you're interested in coins, this has got to be the place to
and
go,
look,
right?
if you're 45 minutes away and you can't make it before 6 o'clock at night, getting off of work like that, catch our Whatnot streams.
Yeah.
PCB sports cards, Gulf Coast Hobby, PCB coins, streaming all week. We do all kind of great products there. You will absolutely have a blast. And you can just shop from home.
You could just shop from home. Got about 1 minute left here. Again, PCB Hobby all day tomorrow. What time's it getting started? 10 in the morning?
10 to 6 tomorrow.
10 to 6 tomorrow right here, PCB Hobby. Tell them the back way to get here one more time,
The
Brian.
easiest way to get here and not deal with the traffic that started very early this morning
Yes, sir.
Would be to come up Hutchison or Middle Beach Road to Lindale. And then come across there, you come out right at the Lindale Shopping Center. And we're on the eastern edge of the Lindale Shopping Center, just past Florida Linen.
Big thanks to PCB Hobby for having us out here this afternoon. Final Four is tomorrow, 3:30 coverage starting. San Diego State, FAU kicking it off. And then we'll get to UConn versus Miami for the second half of the Final Four. Sunday coverage starting at 11:20 in the morning for the Braves at the Nationals. First pitch at 12:35. We'll also have Tuesday's game coverage starting at 6 o'clock right after the Afternoon Underdogs. And the National Championship for college basketball will be Monday. We'll get to the coverage for that game starting at 5:30. We're going to have Brian Haddad and Todd Mueller in the house with us again on Monday. This is the Afternoon Underdogs for David Hayes. For Brian.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. This is Braves country.
This is unbelievable.
Well, the Atlanta Braves opened the season with a 7-2 win over the Nationals, and Sunday they look to make it 2 in a row.
And a huge day for Travis d'Arnaud.
Braves, Nationals. Cover starts at 11:20, first pitch 12:35. Listen to the Atlanta Braves all season long right here. ESPN, Northwest Florida.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
850 Prepped, Bay County's newest meal prep delivery service. Fresh, fully prepared gourmet meals delivered to your doorstep. You have a hectic schedule. Because of this, 850 Prepped has created a local meal delivery service. 850 Prepped features individual and family meals, snacks, and breakfast. Sign up to receive their delicious weekly menu options at 850prepped.com. 850preppd.com.
By now, you've heard us talking about Tiger TV Pro. Hi, David Hayes from the Afternoon Underdogs, here to remind you about this incredible streaming service with over 6,000 premium channels. And the cost, you ask? $15 a month. Yes, only $15 a month. Every sports channel is available, including the ACC and SEC network, the NFL, NBA, MLB, HBO, Showtime, and thousands more. For more info, go to our website at espnpc.com. Scroll down and click the Tiger logo.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WTOT, W271DN Mariana, WVLQ Port St. John, Harlan Hesse, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Hotty toddy, who's it gonna be? Cowbells and swamp, the Yankees wrong. There's nothing like the SEC. The weekend's full of surprise. Get him with the flex. From Williams Park to Death Valley. On the Firemark Show, Paul's on the road. If he don't get the best of me, Paul. Help me sense of it all. What's going on, Bible? Kneeling's up on Rocky Top. The Razorbacks are hard to stop. War Eagles soaring in the wind. Let me talk, Danny. Okay, go. Tigers rocking in Missoula. Wildcats are grinning too. Talk about the tide that's rolling in. The weekend's full of surprises. From big upsets to robberies. On the Firemark Show, heads are gonna roll. If they don't get the best of me, call Paul. Yeah, it makes sense of it all. Yeah, call Paul.
Don't take those calls. I could give you my address and phone number if you're ever in this neck of the woods. This is the Paul Feinbaum Show. It's not Jerry Springer, right?
And welcome to Friday. Welcome to the weekend. Thanks so much for being a part of the show. We have a lot to do. We'll spend some time in Dallas later on getting you ready for the women's Final Four. That is 4 hours from now. And that is where we begin. You got two of the best players. Well, how about the two best players in the country meeting tonight? And this is what it looks like for the Iowa side with Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston on the other side. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's going to be the matchup of the season in women's college basketball. We'll talk about it a little bit later on. Pac-12 still searching for a media deal. Stop me if you've heard that about, well, how about ad nauseum, okay? We'll talk about that a little bit later on. And AR-15 put on a show at his pro day. Could he move way up? Some people have him going in the top 5. That would be interesting considering where the projections were before the season. Nick Delatorre covers the Gators. We'll talk about what the Gators look like in 23. But first, Nick, thanks so much for being here. We appreciate your time. Tell us about yesterday with Anthony Richardson and the Pro Day.
Yeah, I think the other guys at Florida's Pro Day were thanking Anthony Richardson because there were a lot of NFL eyes in town to see him. Obviously, after his combine performance, he was going to sit on some of those numbers, so he just threw. And I think he showed the NFL scouts what we'd seen. He's got a lot of arm talent, can kind of just flick a football 60 yards, and threw one into heaven, Paul. Tried to throw it outside of the indoor practice facility, but the ceiling was able to keep it in.
Nick, in Levitz and obviously in C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young, seemed like the whole world had showed up for that. What was the scene like yesterday among NFL clubs?
Yeah, I think there was a lot of excitement. Obviously, Osiris Torrance was a consensus All-American and probably the top guard in the draft. He'll be a first-round pick, I think, or an early second-round pick. And Gervon Dexter, everyone was there to see AR, but there were some other talented guys who I think are able to take advantage of that. It was almost eerily quiet during Anthony's throwing. It reminded me of Cam Newton when he was throwing at Auburn's Pro Day, asking for some music. I was waiting for something to go, but it was, you could have heard a pin drop on the AstroTurf there in the indoor.
Nick, let's get to Billy Napier in the upcoming season. We've had this conversation a few times, and Gator fans are hoping for maybe a different result in terms of what it looks like, because it's been a tough slog so far. Off-season wasn't great. What about this coming season?
Yeah, I think Florida's got a blueprint. If you look at their offensive line, everyone's 6'6" and 320 pounds or more, and they want to run the football. How effective that can be, I think you need to retool the offense. You don't have a quarterback that can, change a bad play by going 80 yards anymore. So Graham Mertz and Jack Miller are going to battle it out to see who can be the starting quarterback. But with Montrell Johnson and Trevor Etienne returning, that's 1,500 yards and 16 touchdowns back. Florida also added a Tulane graduate transfer in Cam Carroll, who looks great in spring practice. They're going to want to run the football. Do you have enough offense, in terms of a passing game to keep teams honest and to keep 9 guys out of the box? That'll be the question of what Billy Napier can do, because I think a lot of last year, Anthony Richardson just won you games. If you think about that Utah game, Paul, Florida doesn't win that without Anthony Richardson.
Nick, let's talk about the quarterback position, because Anthony Richardson is gone. At least he was not around for the Gators. He'll be somewhere else. So who is going to be the starter?
Yeah, I think Graham Mertz is probably leading that. He started 32 games at Wisconsin. He transferred to Florida. Jack Miller, who transferred in before last season, is battling him out for that. There's no clear-cut leader in that battle right now, but I think Florida anticipates and hoping that Graham Mertz will, just because of his experience playing big-time football in the Big Ten. So it's certainly different. He's not an athlete like Anthony Richardson, maybe a little bit more accurate, and certainly has a lot more experience than anybody else. Anthony Richardson had only started 1 game before last year, and Jack Miller has only started 1 game, and that was a bowl game, the Las Vegas Bowl, where, Paul, I don't know if that was, the Birmingham Bowl that a lot of Gators would have gone to. I think Las Vegas was a big factor in guys choosing to go to that bowl game, and it looked like it when the game started.
Yeah, it looks like some went out and caught a couple of shows before the game or during the game. Napier's caught a lot of flack, but we all know what and why he was hired. He's very capable. He's had a great track record. Is there any reason to be dissuaded from that original thought when Scott Strickland brought him in, that he was the right person, he was the answer, he was the person that could lead this program back?
I think the first season obviously doesn't go the way you want it to at 6-7, but I think if you don't stumble in Nashville, if you don't lose to Vanderbilt, the fan base has a different feeling about the season overall. I think there was a huge rebuild that needed to happen, and it's still happening. I think Florida's, I don't think they're going to be in contention to win the SEC East this upcoming season. And just how does the team look as the rebuild, I think, will determine the temperament of the fan base. And if fans expect Florida to beat Georgia and go to Atlanta this year, then they're going to be mad at whatever the outcome is. I think you need to be realistic, and it's going to take some time. The recruiting class was good last year, and I think you have a potential generational type of quarterback coming in with DJ Lagway for the next cycle. So Billy Napier asked for patience, and I think if you give him some, it looks like this thing, although slowly, is going to take is going on the right path.
Well, I have to question you on that. You look at the schedule, and I'm not jumping too far ahead with the generational quarterback, but Utah, Tennessee, at Kentucky, at South Carolina, Georgia, Arkansas, at LSU, at Missouri, and FSU. Where do you find wins in that to be optimistic?
Yeah, week two. Week 2 looks like a win, Paul. I think that's Charlotte.
Okay.
It's a tough schedule, and don't forget Vanderbilt's becoming a rival now. So there's not a lot of guaranteed wins. I think Utah is a really tough game out on the road. I'm interested to see Tennessee without Hendon Hooker. I think they have a really great offense, but I don't know that you can look at the schedule and say Tennessee, Kentucky, and those games are losses. I mean, I look at LSU. Florida struggled mightily with LSU. You get Katie Jefferson back at Arkansas. At South Carolina, the last time Florida was up there, They lost by 30 points. So it's a tough schedule. I think Florida, if you look at it realistically, 6-6 could be an outcome. I think 8 wins might be a ceiling. If you can get to 8 wins somehow, that's an incredible season. But I think Florida fans should be realistic with 2023 being a 6 to 8 win season.
And if it ends up at 6, can Florida fans be patient? Can they hang on? And because they have been dealt a bad blow in recent years, and you know that. You cover the team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, at what point do you need to just stop hitting the reset button every 2-3 years, and then you find yourself back in the exact same spot? And I get what the fans' frustration is. I was in college when Florida was winning 2 championships in 3 years, so I understand what the expectation is, what fans want. I just think that if you keep hitting this reset button, you become, what Tennessee was for so long before Heupel got there, and you just keep restarting. So a lot of the fans will also be looking at the recruiting class. Florida, obviously, with the whole Jaden Rashada thing, the class took a big hit late. If Florida goes 6-6 but has a number 2 or a top 3 recruiting class, I think the fans will say, okay, that's what the missing piece was with Dan Mullen. We weren't getting the players. We weren't closing the gap on Georgia. And that's the biggest thing. Paul, you can have the 7th best recruiting class in the country and be 4th best in your own division or in the SEC. So I think that's what Florida fans are looking for Billy Napier to do.
Nick Delatorre joining us, talking about the Gators. Many thanks. We head to the break. We'll get to your phone calls, your reaction in a moment at 855-242-7285. A busy afternoon. Hope you'll stick around.
For adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy, now there's Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months, and Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Nothing in me go hand in hand. Nothing on my skin, that's my new thing. Nothing is everything.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, you could achieve 90% clearer skin. Ask your doctor about the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis and visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
ESPN Northwest Florida presents
Wrestling Against Cancer, number 8.
Come see premier professional wrestling with the American Machine, Chief Little Bear, Mr. 850, and exciting women's wrestling with Raven Knight and T-Games. Saturday, April 29th, Wrestling Against Cancer, number 8.
Number 8.
At the Bay Haven Charter Academy in Panama City. Doors open at 5:30, bell time 6:30. Proceeds benefit Donna Duncan.
More information, ESPNPC.com.
Mid-South Lumber, where they treat you like family. Locally owned and serving the residents of Bay County for over 45 years. See Mid-South Lumber for all of your DIY projects, including windows, doors, siding, lumber, and millwork. Are you building a new home? Bring your contractor in to Mid-South Lumber and meet with a member of their sales team to discuss your framing, siding, windows, and doors. Mid-South Lumber, the biggest little lumber yard in Panama City.
Let your spring adventures begin today at Billbird Kia. The SUV family is built for all adventures, and the possibilities are endless. Now offering 3.25% APR for up to 48 months on the purchase of a new 2023 Kia Sorento. You'll get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. Billbird Kia is the home of the 20